I'm going to get my TikTok stream.
We're live.
Sly with me on.
I'm
are you on TikTok, Sly?
Question. I set the green screen after.
You can do it either way.
Before or after, doesn't matter. Up to you.
Let's see. Do I have
That's my favorite sign. Up to you.
Right.
Responsibility.
Oh, I missed it.
Off of me.
Oh, okay. Can somebody remind me how I'm supposed to do that?
Did you start your live yet? No. Okay. If you haven't started, it's on the right. The effects.
All right.
And then
Sly
it'll
on
bring up
live. It's invited you to come hang with me.
Hi, Johnny.
Oh, beautiful. Hi, Johnny.
It's happening.
Welcome
Johnny
to the party.
Johnny can't hear you, Liz.
Maybe Johnny will come to YouTube and hear me. There.
Johnny, go
Hi,
to
everybody.
YouTube. Everybody go to YouTube.
Come to YouTube and Twitch where you can see. Oh my God, my ring light is horribly bright.
Okay. Liz and Sly are live, but that's
right.
not helpful to me. I'm waiting for Alexis, everyone. Oh, there she is.
We're here in the chat. I'm going to get my green.
You're where?
I don't have my green screen saved, so Sly, you're going to hold down the fort with the green screen for us on TikTok.
Volume. Okay, great.
Okay, and I got to plug my phone in. Just like, wouldn't be a true show if none of my stuff was plugged in, and y'all tried to text me to tell me to plug it. You literally was like, hey, can you please plug your stuff in?
I love that you committed to starting the YouTube stream before you did any of this.
Oh, yeah. I was like, people need to see us. People need the chaos. How is everybody, though? Welcome to a very chaotic episode of Stark Radio. I'm seeing lots of familiar faces in the chat. I'm realizing that my plugs barely reach where my phone needs to be and the outlet, which is going to be really fun to navigate this evening. So I can't wait for this to cause a disaster in about 20 minutes. But anywho, we made it.
I'm already halfway done with my water, so this will be fun.
We have a very special lineup for everybody tonight. We are, obviously, there's no Marvel to react to this week, so we have a treat. We are going to be counting down all of the projects from last year, 2021. But before we do that, does everyone want to say hey and just I feel like by now most people know who we are, but for the sake of the recording, does everyone want to introduce themselves, what your specialty is on this show, and how you're feeling or something? I don't know. Alexis, you can start. I have the joke because Alexis hates when I make her go first.
I do hate it. I like to copy everybody else. I'm Alexis. I talk about comics and cats. That would be my area of specialty. And yeah. Hello. Privet. Bonjour.
That's good.
Hi.
That's good. Sly?
Hi, I'm Sly. I'm a deaf queer person on the internet. I need to let y'all know that the captions, when Liz said Marvel, it translated to marble, and that cracked me up. So that's how it's going today.
Beautiful. I'm so happy for you that I could cause a moment of joy, a moment of bliss. Marissa.
Okay. Hi. I'm Marissa. I don't know what I talk about. I talk about feminism and hair, probably, is where I fit.
Yeah, that's like a really solid summary. And I'm Liz, producer Liz. My account's really having a moment with I don't really know what I am anymore, but I do know and talk a lot about pop culture in general. I produce this show behind the scenes. And there's a lot of really fun stuff in the works involving MCU, Taylor Swift, One Direction, pop music coming from me in the very near future. So stay tuned. So we're going to go through and rank all of our favorite projects, our least favorite projects. I do want to let everyone know I've seen the rankings of everyone on screen, but Alexis, Marissa, and Sly have not seen each other's rankings. And I also want to say that nobody had the same top slot. Everyone picked a different project, which I thought was shocking.
Amazing.
Marissa, you look really surprised.
I'm shocked because I
See,
hoped
I
that
knew
would
Marissa
happen.
would be surprised.
I hoped that would happen, but our opinions on everything else have been basically the exact same. So this is going to be great.
I love it. Sly, do you have any predictions for this evening?
I feel like a lot of people are going to be very upset with my opinion today.
Is that new for the show, though, that people get upset with at least one of us on screen by the time the 2 hours is done?
No, but I know my rankings of things in general are very controversial.
Right. I will say, I don't think you made the most controversial choices this evening. There was a couple that I was really like, oh, wow, people are going to get quite, we're going to have some good reactions tonight from the panel.
I'm scared, and I know I'm not the most controversial one, so I think Alexis is going to have a lot to answer for.
Wow. I'm proud of you.
Alexis, how are you feeling heading into this? Is there anything you want to say to try and save your soul before we begin?
I will say that I felt like from our group chat that's going to be my sign for group chat for no reason. Then that's what happened. That I think based on our group chat that I feel like everybody else put a lot of thought into theirs. And I was like, these are my feelings. These are my vibes. I'm not going to analyze this on any sort of it's just kind of based on my enjoyment. And then it kept getting more chaotic because I kept forgetting stuff and having to add stuff. And I sent it to Liz and was like, Marissa's going to hate me. So I'm a little concerned about that.
I will say I had a very similar approach in mine, and my constant thought was 7 of the 9 projects in our ranking, I could have put at number 1, and they were number 1 at different points of the year. So the more I kept adding projects to my consideration, the more I was like, oh no, no, oh no.
I think we're all agreement with the bottom 2. So that's my prediction that it's going to be the same bottom 2 for everybody.
Yeah,
I kept thinking, when I went to do my number 1 slot, I kept thinking, but I have problems with that one, but I have problems with that one. So it became what I had the least amount of problems with and was the most enjoyable. It was a weird sort of calculus.
My ranking is purely on vibes, purely on what did I like the most? And it's not necessarily what is the best or what is well made.
Yes,
it's just what I liked.
Yeah.
Which is going to get me in trouble. I know. There's at least one of these that's going to get me in trouble. And I accept that. And I wish I could change it, but I can't.
All of mine are going to get me in trouble. I have not accepted it, but here we are.
Okay. Listen, this is a supportive community space. And everybody watching TikTok, YouTube, Twitch, other live stream on TikTok, we are a supportive community. So we'll roast each other with love in our hearts. And I do encourage everybody watching across platforms, and maybe y'all can say this to your Twitch stream too, if you have anyone watching right now, do also share in the comments your rankings as we go through the list, because I want to hear from everyone who watched the MCU projects this year, what your thoughts were. I'm going to say very quickly, I hate what happened to my graphic. I thought it was going to go without those black lines, so I'm very upset about that. But I'm also just going to quickly put up a spoiler warning. We will be talking spoilers for every single Marvel project that's released in 2021, including No Way Home, including the Eternals, obviously Hawkeye, because we watched all of Hawkeye and did the after parties together. But if there's a Marvel project you haven't seen, it may come up at any point in time because everyone's rankings are different. So definitely come back and watch the recording on YouTube. Once you've caught up on all the projects, I know Eternals comes out next week on Disney+. So if you're waiting for that release to happen, maybe come back and watch this after you've seen it. Because we don't want to spoil any of these amazing projects for any of you, because it really was a fabulous year for Marvel media.
Okay, Liz, now pause so I can give that spiel to our TikTok. Really quickly. Hi, TikTok. Please join us on YouTube and Twitch so you can see all of the hosts together. We're ranking every MCU project from 2021. please share your rankings in the comments as well. But we will have spoilers for every single project from WandaVision to No Way Home. So just be aware. But join us on YouTube and Twitch, please. Okay.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you. Sorry, you have to cut me off, obviously, because I don't remember that things I say and that there's like a whole other stream going. But we're so happy to see everyone here.
I can't hear a single word you say.
Cries.
It's so sad, I know.
Cries.
And they also can't see your beautiful graphics.
Cries.
Or your beautiful face.
No, my graphics are way more important than my face.
Beautiful Liz, I miss you.
My beautiful Makari. Did I do that right? Beautiful Makari. Is that what it is?
Left chin. It's your face.
Thank you so much. I think I was doing like chin stroke.
Is it?
Oh.
It's your pointer finger from her ear,
Makari?
right? Yeah.
Oh, Makari.
Sorry. I was signing Liz.
It's Liz.
The right way of doing it. Thank you so much. That's what Druid actually says in Eternal. Spoiler, he actually calls me out.
Yeah, you have to know sign to understand, but it's
actually a call out to producer Liz. Okay, let's start our rankings. The other thing I'm going to say, and I don't want to apologize for my graphics, but I realized right before we started that every single click refreshes the entire screen. So I do apologize if anyone's a little bit photosensitive. It's not anything too flashy, but it is definitely annoying. But with that, we'll get started with our project rankings for 2021. And as predicted, hold on, I think it's going to go like forward and then back really quick. Yeah. As predicted, What If came in the last spot for everybody. And I accidentally spoiled Marissa's 8th place spot. So let's just quickly go back. I apologize. And let's talk about What If, since everyone put it in the bottom spot. Marissa, we'll start with you since you're first on the screen. Just very briefly, why did What If hit your number 9?
Why?
Yeah.
That's my whole question. The show is called What If. I think it should just be called
Why? Brilliant.
That's it. Just go back and watch the Stark Radio What If after party.
Yeah.
And just follow the vibes of that show.
Follow the vibes. Oh my God, if I could speak tonight. Alexis, why did What If hit your number 9?
Because it was the one I had the most problems with that I enjoyed the least. I was a little concerned because at one point in the group chat, Marissa had been like, I know this other thing is last. And I was like, no.
Oh, that's
What
not
If
for
should be
this.
last,
That's
but
for
apparently
that's
What
for
If-
the
What
other.
If-
That's for the PowerPoint. Don't.
Oh yeah, we're doing spicy PowerPoints
it's that
tonight,
for the other
everybody.
one? Okay.
Yes. And I have
I was
justification
concerned.
for why. Just
and
wait.
I will say I was actually just wait. Okay. So I was having dinner with my family earlier and they were asking about the show because they still don't understand what I do. And we were having a conversation about it. And I said something like, well, Marvel will never send me a PR box. Like that will never happen. And they asked why. And I was like, Stark Radio's What If after party.
That's fair.
We really bonded
My
in those
opinions
weeks.
about the diversity in that show.
Yeah. Sly.
I'm stealing this from you guys, but the question they asked was not the question they answered for the full show. So, like, the fundamental goal of the show was not met.
Yep. I think that's like a very diplomatic answer. It's a very constructive diplomatic answer, I think, versus my reasoning is misogyny.
Yeah, I was gonna say I wish
That too.
I wish I could have predicted your answer before you gave it because I was going to say it's the Dark Doctor Strange episode.
Yes!
The only reason. Like that's the only reason you need.
That was the worst half hour of TV that I watched in 2021. And that's why Marvel will never send me a PR package.
Listen,
Yeah.
I am so excited for Multiverse of Madness, but every time I see that trailer and there's a darker Doctor Strange, I'm like, if I'm about to sit through 3 hours of What If, I will not make it. Like, please, for the love of God.
I will say that What If did bring me literally all of you It's when Alexis joined the show. It's when Marissa forced herself onto the show, to our glee and joy. Sly, that's when you were the most active in the comments.
I found the show.
It's where you found the show. You were around for the Loki after party a little bit too. So
no, I was not.
Okay, well, I could have given you credit.
You until Alexis joined. What If?
I had my timelines wrong.
Welcome.
Well, I'm so glad. It's literally when all of us found our way together. So, like, What If we had an after party literally was the name of that show, and then we did it. And I just feel like that was the only What If episode that made sense out of all of them. And it wasn't even when the show planned. It was our show that made it happen. Because now we have after parties for everything, and more on that in the coming weeks. An Easter egg that y'all will find out about later. But into our number 8 rankings. Oh my God, imagine if my thing would work. All right.
It's just me.
Yes, it's your turn to reveal your number 8.
It's Loki.
I feel like I need sound effects for this. Like, oh, like, womp, womp, womp.
It just had such a strong, start. It had such a strong start. And to me, it didn't pay off. And I really hated Loki and Sylvie. And I haven't rewatched it. I have rewatched everything else available to me in the MCU of 2021. I have not rewatched any of Loki. And so that is how I know. Well, I haven't rewatched any of What If. Actually, that's not true. I rewatched them in prep for the show.
A traitor. A traitor.
Yeah. Loki is the only show that I watched once and I was like, great, I'm done. So that's how I knew it had to go at the bottom.
That's fair. It's very, very fair. Alexis?
What Marissa said. Everything Marissa just said. I know. I think my big issue with Loki was that it had a really strong start and I didn't feel like it paid off. And that I feel like I had wanted more world building, in that I wanted more questions about the world to be answered. And they kept kind of putting those off. So I felt like a lot of like the tentative world building we had done wasn't really like, I didn't know what to do with it when the show was over. It was also a show, like I had to force myself to watch almost every episode of What If. But I had to really force myself to watch each next, like every time there was a new episode of Loki, I was like, I have to watch it. Like once we got past like episode 3, like the rest of it was just kind of a drag for me. So sorry.
You're allowed to have your opinion. Absolutely. Sly.
Loki. I agree with everything you guys have said, but for me, it created so many problems with the world they had already established and didn't fix any of them. And that was my problem, that it didn't agree with what the rest of the MCU said about how everything works, and didn't give us other answers for like why that changed. So that was my problem.
Valid. I think, I should have done a full line reveal. I think it's because I switched mine at the last minute. Loki was not my number 8 because I had a lot of fun watching Loki. Like that was an era of time that it was fun to be on TikTok. It was fun to be on Twitter, not for the entire series, but for like the first 3 episodes. It was a really fun time to be in the MCU community. And I loved how it's one of the only eras of Marvel of 2021 where there was a moment where no one knew where it was going. Like, and that happened like in a couple of the episodes versus there's been other projects that have been predicted from day one. And I'm not opposed to that happening, but it was just really fun to be in a moment where even the people that are the most versed and had the most knowledge or had been in the community the longest or whatever had as much idea as you did. So I do give the Loki era credit for that because we had few of those moments, I think, in 2021. And also, it was our first live after party show, so it holds a soft place in my heart. Thank you, Ro. Shout out Agent of Midgard, who co-hosted that one with me. If y'all don't know, we are live on YouTube and Twitch, and you can head over to the link in my bio if you click on my profile, and you can come join us, or you can look up Stark Radio Show on Twitch. And I think we're Stark Radio Show on YouTube. I also forget our YouTube name, apparently, but Stark Radio Show on YouTube and Twitch. You can come hang out.
I don't know if that's actually true. That's what I put, and nobody confirmed that it was not true. So
no, I literally don't know what our YouTube name is half the time because I just set it all up from StreamYard and we just go ahead. Do you want to let your audience know on your TikTok?
Yes. Please join us on YouTube and Twitch. We're ranking every MCU project from 2021. And there are other people talking, so it's not just us staring at each other quietly.
Sitting in silence. Yes. Okay, on to our number 7 rankings. And remember, in the comments, we do want to hear what your rankings were for 2021 MCU projects. And there are spoilers for every Marvel project across the board. So as we head into our number 7 rankings, this is where things start to get interesting. Marissa, hold on.
Oh, you went back.
I'm going the wrong way. All right.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I know Danielle is here. Danielle, I'm so sorry. I love you. It wasn't it.
Wow.
It was not it. It was not it. I had fun watching it. I had a lot of fun doing the live show. But I liked other things a lot more than this.
It's valid.
And it just didn't, I don't know, it didn't pay off for me. I don't think the way that the show was designed was the way that people watched it. 'Cause I watched for Kate and Maya and Yelena 100%. But that is not how the show was built. And so I don't think the show effectively delivered on what it was intended for, basically.
Yeah. Absolutely. That's an opinion that you're allowed to have.
Sorry. Thank God.
I was going to fake out because I was like, I'm sure she also put Hawkeye for number 7.
No, I feel the same way. I think I had quite a few problems with Hawkeye that I couldn't get over. And I one of the biggest to me was that the stakes of the show really early on are set up that Clint gets home for Christmas. But the real through line there is that Clint gets home for Christmas and thus is a good dad. And I don't like that storyline because it then for the audience validates all of the not great dad behavior that Clint had throughout the show as being good dad behavior. I feel like my caption said something weird, but anyway. And what else was I going to say? I had an issue with the way Kate was handled in the show, especially because it was not the way Kate was originally, way back when the show was first announced, was pitched to be involved in the show. So I had some issues with that. There was something else important, but I can't remember what it was. So there we go.
Can I say one more thing for still talking about Hawkeye?
Yes.
It didn't really pay off on consequences. It was set up to be that Clint was faced with his past and his mistakes as the Ronin. And we'll tie a bow around it, put it in a barbecue, the end of Ronin.
Yeah.
What were okay, Alexis remembered what she was going to say. Great.
I remember what I was going to say. What I was going to say was that actually Sly ruined Hawkeye for me because on one of these after parties, sorry about you. On one of these after parties, Sly said, but imagine if this show had used Laura with Kate instead of Clint. And it was right before the finale, which meant that I then had to go into the finale and be like, shit, this whole show would have been better. I would have had many less issues with this show if it would have been about Laura and Kate rather than Clint and Kate, because
the banners,
including Clint, when you put Clint in the show, for me, there are only a couple reasons in universe that you're doing that, right? And that's for him to either train Kate or pass on the mantle. And neither of those things happened, which means that the only reason you put Clint in the show was to validate women for a predominantly perceived male audience. And I'm not about that life, right? And if you were really thinking in structure of story, it makes much more sense for Laura, who we don't like, Agent 19 Laura, to be involved in a show so we can learn more about her, and to also act as a foil for Kate's mother. Clint doesn't like what? So now Kate kind of has a dad who can't be a dad to his own kids when we never actually talk about her dad. Like, that story doesn't mean anything for me in the same way that Laura's story would have. And I actually saw a critique by a creator who I will not name, who I actually really enjoy, that was like, oh, it's so great that Laura is not just a housewife and mother. And I actually have a lot of issue with that, because I think it is very powerful for Laura to be just a housewife and mother. And I think it's very powerful for us to see Laura as Agent 19. But neither of those things happened, because clearly what they thought was it's not powerful to show a woman as just a wife and mother. So there must be more there. So we'll tell you that she did these great things, but we won't show them to you. And that has pissed me off since Sly pointed it out. So it's Sly's fault. And there we are.
I just want to let y'all know that up until about 30 minutes ago, I had the same answer.
I wasn't gonna rat you out. I wasn't gonna say it.
Changed it. So, okay. I'll let you know why. Because I loved Black Widow. I loved it. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was good. Okay, so originally I had put down Hawkeye as my number 7 because there was a lot that was amazing. There was a lot that was awful. And I had strong feelings about it. But Black Widow, I didn't have strong feelings about. Like, it was good. I liked it. It was good. And that was it. That was all my feelings about it. So I really enjoyed it. It was the first MCU movie that I watched in theaters since starting watching all the movies. It was great, but I liked everything else more. So
that's
sad
fair.
day.
That's a fine explanation. If there was something you didn't like about it, we would have had a problem.
That's the problem.
Well,
it was good. I didn't really have any problems with it, but it wasn't great.
That's fine. That's fine.
I mean, I ranked it higher than that, and I had a host of issues with it.
Fair.
Wow, that was the first shock of the night. Can't wait to see what happens next.
We're only in the number 7 spot, and we're already like popping off. I will say it did feel like 9 and 8 were a lot easier to rank. And obviously, I think we all felt that way because we all had the same ranking. So from here on out, it's only going to get more and more chaotic. What did I put? I put Hawkeye in my number 7.
Damn, I should have kept it.
Sly, we were almost so consistent. I will say that Hawkeye was going to be higher in my ranking when I was thinking about this last week. And then we had our finale after party, and a lot of things were said. And I think Marissa said this, but it might have been Jack. So I'm not sure which of the siblings made this point, but I don't want to improperly credit. There was a point made about how it felt like a lot was being put into the show. Like, oh, we're having these projects down the line. Where can we introduce this character or this feeling or this like world building? Like, I'll shove it in Hawkeye. And as soon as that was said, I was like, it didn't ruin the show for me per se,
Jack.
but it was it Jack?
Yeah.
So shout out Jack. It made me reconsider a lot of the way the plot was constructed. And it made me like, you know, that so Raven flashback to the moment I was on my couch being like, I don't really understand why this is happening. So that's why for me, it's in my number 7 spot, because it really made me consider I would even say that at least Loki didn't feel like they were trying to fit a whole lot of different goals into the show. It did feel like a consistent story that didn't have a lot of external interference. And Hawkeye felt like it had a lot of external interference. It's very turbulent. Yeah. So that was me. We're feeling some betrayal in the chat, Danielle. We see you.
I will just say that it was very comic accurate, right? And that it actually did portray some feminism. There's comic accuracy. So like
some feminism. Let's be clear.
Some, like it's like the only bit in the show you had to come in with knowledge of the comics for. And if it made your heart happy, it made your heart happy. So like, I still love you. Don't hate me.
Yeah. I see Johnny is here from Voices of Atlas on the edge of his seat to see where we ranked Shang-Chi. Johnny, I hope we're all still friends after this is all I'm going to say to you because we know
I'm
that.
so sorry.
So let's move into our number 6 ranking.
I'm so sorry.
Really?
I'm so sorry. Listen, everyone listen, please. It's an objectively great movie. It's excellent. Yeah. It's extremely well made, well written, well performed. The fight choreography is incredible. It's just not my thing. I loved all of Macau, and then they went to, I'm sorry, Johnny, I'm sorry. I loved all of Macau. I loved all the fight sequences. I loved who's the guy with the mask? And there was a knife fight. Great. Then they went to like the 10 Rings Wenwu's house, and I was out. It was too much. And then there was Morris, and then there was Trevor, and then they got to Talo, and I was like, there's too much.
Friendship will survive this.
I think
you put Black Widow below this, so
this might be Marissa's last show. This might be Marissa's last show with us. I'm kidding. Everyone's entitled to their opinion.
I like simpler things. A little simpler, a little smaller scale. It was just, and I've tried. I watched it again. I liked it, but I liked other things more. It's the same as Sly. There's nothing I dislike about it. There are just other things I liked more. I'm sorry. And I knew this was going to happen. But I have to be true to myself. And I'm so sorry.
Listen, on this show, we preach, what's the TikTok trend that's going around right now that's like, I support women's rights and their wrongs?
Mm-hmm.
More importantly.
But more
Death
importantly,
Dealer. Yes, Johnny. Death Dealer. That fight was incredible. Sorry. Moving on.
Alexis. Let's get ready to brawl. Let's get ready to rumble in here.
We're not friends anymore. We're not friends anymore. Can you see my shirt? We're not friends anymore.
I knew this one was. I was like, no.
Let me move my mic.
Marissa's gonna be angry. Okay, so I've got to be honest with you all.
I came prepared.
I watched the first 2 episodes of WandaVision and said I was never gonna watch another Disney Plus show ever. I was so I think something about it being like one of the first ones, it being presented in this new way. Like I didn't feel like there was a lot of like plot development in the first 2 episodes because there weren't any answers. And so I was very confused as to like what was happening. After that, I really enjoyed the show, but the finale didn't hold up to me to what the middle episodes of the show had been. And I think if it would have had the finale that later they talked about it, like in interviews, they mentioned like other things that were supposed to be included. I think if I would have had that finale, I would have liked the show much better. But the finale as it was just kind of felt like jumbly to me. But I recognize that that show did brilliant things. And it portrayed all of these different decades in a way that is really like not only a testament to everybody's acting, but to all of the people involved in the creation of the project. And it's just really like superseded anything we will ever be able to do on television again. So like, I recognize that. It was a good show. It just wasn't my favorite.
I respect that.
Once again, we support women's rights. I'm kidding. Very well said.
Support women's rights.
So, Hawkeye. This show introduced my favorite character.
That's a great start. Yes.
And
Yes, it did.
And you have another example of Marvel using an able-bodied actor as a disabled character. So it's there. I loved so much, and I hated so much. It made me feel a lot of things. If you want to know more about those thoughts, watch the after parties.
There's literally 4 different shows you can watch Sly on talking about every episode of Hawkeye, right?
Yes, so watch MC University. Later, actually, we're doing the second part for that. Watch, what else did I do? Oh, MCU Mondays from Penultimate Conquest. And check out Stark Radio. Many thoughts.
Many great thoughts as well. Like your commentary around Hawkeye has just been so fabulous. Just to put it out there, it's quality content. I put Eternals in my number 6 spot, which is shocking to me because this was just Slide's really like in the vibe here. Yes, I was even shocked that Eternals landed this low. It was the introduction of Harry Styles into the MCU, which was the moment. If I had to rank like my favorite moment from 2021, it was seeing Harry Styles as Arrows. I have the sweater. I should have worn it. I don't know where it is right now.
You have to post that footage somewhere. Liz sent me the video of her reaction to the post-credit scene. It's incredible.
I'll post it at the TikTok. I've been
It's
meaning
like Oscar-winning performance.
And I knew it was coming is the thing. Like I had proof. Like it was confirmed to me. I couldn't handle the anxiety. So I'm not going to say who, but I did text someone and I was like, I really just need you to tell me if like this is true because I think it is. And I will not watch any of the movie. No, it wasn't you. It was someone else. I was like, I will not watch any of the movie. I'll black out for 2.5 hours.
I watched it before. I watched it that Tuesday, and I forget who, but I had a few people ask me saying, like, will you let me know if it's true or not?
Yeah.
So I was
so
grateful
grateful.
it was you as well.
No,
2
weeks in advance, a couple weeks in advance, I was like, listen, I really gotta know. I will say that I'm excited to rewatch Eternals next week to see if it changes at all in my rankings. But my top 5 projects are like 5 of my favorite projects ever. And that's really the only justification I have right now for where Eternals lands for me. So we'll continue. And I'm seeing some support in the chat. And Johnny rightfully asking, what will Harry say? To Harry Styles, I say, prove that you can do more. And then we'll see if you'll end up in my number 1 spot. I am purchasing like Arrows themed merchandise and like putting art on my wall. So clearly I was about to say,
as Liz is like head to toe in a like Harry Styles snuggie.
Liz made an Arrows TikTok like last week. Speaking of Eternals.
Y'all are killing me.
I'm sorry. I loved it. It was all I wanted to talk about for weeks. We all know how betrayed I was by Icarus. I was really rooting for him. And then I listened to the MCU University extra credit episode of Eternals, and Sly called me out. And then I thought about what actually happened in the movie, and I was like, no, there were definitely vibes I should have picked up. I was wrong. It's me. It's my fault. I was blinded. I should have recognized it.
I now have to go listen as soon as this show is over just to hear you get called out on the internet.
Sly actively called me out and was like, my friend Marissa was totally surprised, and I think it was really obvious.
Sucks.
Yes. But they told me about it. They were like, you have a shout out on MC University this week. And I was like, okay. So I listened to the whole episode, and like 45 minutes in, Slander.
In our group chat on a daily basis, I strive to get a Liz important, but now I will strive never to get a, hey, Alexis, we just did a shout out to you.
I'm gonna have to take my puffer. Oh my god.
So anyway, I loved Eternals. I thought it was great. It was a really fun movie going experience, but there were just other things that I loved more. We're at the point where it's like splitting hairs, really.
Yes, I do want to just add a little bit of context to everyone who's watching and isn't aware that Alexis did not see Eternals right away, right? Like Alexis, it took Alexis a few weeks to see Eternals, which is fine. And we don't on this show, we appreciate that not everyone goes opening week. Like that is fine. Does not make you any less of a fan. However, Marissa and I were in agony with the memes that we had stored, that when Alexis finally did see it, one of us had to go through text and one of us had to go through TikTok DMs to make sure Alexis got all of the memes to her devices.
I very much appreciated it. I also walked out of the theater and I think immediately left you all like 2 hours of voice memos.
It's
like
very
for a while,
true.
it was just Marissa and I like going back and forth in 2-minute segments.
But for like a week before that, it had been me and Liz going back and forth in 2-minute segments.
Yeah. A lot to unpack there. So let's continue. While I try and literally regain my breath, I love being asthmatic. Alexis.
Oh my God. Okay, so I will say, I can't remember exactly how Marissa said it because I was going to copy her and then I got distracted. But I will say, I think you said I loved it. I did not love it. But there were certain characters that annoyed me for the entire film, and I just could not get past those certain characters. And so for me, that's where it is. But I think it was a good movie. I think it was an exciting movie. I really liked that it was different for Marvel, like that it was different visually and it was different tonally and it told a different type of story. I've seen a lot of critiques on the internet lately of people being like, no, they shouldn't have told the story in that way. They should have stuck to their formula. And I disagree with that. I think it was a really good opportunity for them to tell a story in a different way. I don't know how else you tell this story without the flashback stuff. So I thought it was a really cool movie for that. But there were certain characters, man, that I just could not get past. Sorry.
And those were the 2-minute long voice memos I received.
Yes. All right. Sly, are you ready for your number 5 ranking?
I guess.
I'm not ready for Sly's.
This was suspenseful. Oh.
Okay. It was great. I liked it a lot. It did a lot of awesome things. I just preferred other things more. Like, I love Spider-Man, right? Like, that was the one Marvel character I liked before this year, right? It's the only one that, like, I kept up with outside of, like, DC Comics, right?
Yeah.
Going to see it was an experience. I really enjoyed it. It did a lot of great things. Yeah. I don't know.
Valid.
I have no negatives.
Valid, I think. Anything else we want to say about that before we continue? No? All right. We'll continue then. and now Marissa comes from me in my throat.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I shouldn't have worn this shirt. It's fine.
That is the scariest thing to me. Is Marissa's like, no, it's fine.
I'd rather just get the rage. It's like when your parent tells you they're just disappointed. I'm like, I know it's worth it. I'm going to get coal in my stocking.
That you pop up a comment.
Yeah.
I think you know which one. Thank you.
I'm very glad that you asked for that. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I'll also, Alexis, I apologize that every time I pull something up, it covers up your face at the bottom of the screen. I don't know how to fix that.
It's okay.
Okay. I just wanted you to know
know,
I'm
my
not
face doesn't
choosing to
use
do
it.
that. That's just the only option I have when I click on something. Okay, WandaVision in my number 5. I really enjoyed WandaVision. I would echo a lot of what Alexis said, and just in terms of some of the things that made it a little lower on my rankings. I have gone back and rewatched WandaVision. It's become my new hangover show, which is fun. It shows itself, I think. I think one piece of WandaVision, and this might be controversial to say, but I think Miss Maria could have been written quite a bit better. And I really, really hope that. Sorry, yes. Oh my God, Monica. I'm thinking
Maria's your
Maria
mom, it's
Hill.
fine.
I know.
Yeah.
I still am calling the dog from Hawkeye like every name except its proper
Pizza
name.
the dog.
Okay,
Pizza the dog. It's
don't
still my
mind
favorite
me.
thing.
We
Yes,
should make Pizza the dog merch.
we
I know.
really
Just
should.
off-brand, lucky.
I think that there's a lot of content creators who have done really beautiful jobs speaking to some of the stereotypes that some of the writing of Monica fell into. And I think that Monica deserves a lot of her own development outside of Wanda and the point that they put her in this show. I think that she's such a phenomenal character. One piece of the show I did really like is how she's like gained her powers through like going back and forth. I think that's really interesting, and I'm excited to see what they do with that moving forward. But she just deserves more, and that kind of puts a little bit of a damper on the show for me. I also think that bringing Darcy back was like a very interesting choice that felt like one of the first moments this year I had some confidence in the way that women could be written. And then she kind of became more of the butt of the joke rather than like this incredible scientist from time to time, not the entire way through, but there was a lot more moments where I wanted to see Darcy's intellect, and instead she was like eating snacks watching the show. And I was like, come on, like she has so much to offer. Don't just write her into a corner. Yeah. But I do love WandaVision. I attended so many press events and panels, and I asked 10 billion questions to the director during the Vancouver film. They held like a Q&A with him, and I literally asked like 7 or 8 questions to him, and it was phenomenal. So it has such a close place in my heart. But yeah, end of rant. And with that, if everyone's still watching, we're actually gaining viewers as we go. So either people are agreeing with us or ready to make like hate videos when we're done.
Thoughts, but I'm waiting. I'll save them for later.
All right, I can't wait. In the number 4, Black Widow.
Now we get to
This
the point.
actually surprises me for you.
Now we get to the point where it's purely based on how many times I've watched it. I've only seen Black Widow twice. I did consider rewatching it yesterday. I did not. I had other things to do. I loved this movie. And I know it's not a great movie. Like, it's, sort of middle of the board, I would say. But I just loved it. I don't think I've ever had that, like, movie-going experience. Like, I've had the, like, Endgame experience where it's, like, big and exciting, or like the No Way Home sort of experience, but I've never had a movie that I sat in and didn't expect a lot. I did not expect a lot, and then was like punched in the gut within 2 minutes. This ranking is for the first 10 minutes and Yelena alone. Like, the opening credits of this movie changed my life.
Yep.
Like,
I echo that. Yep.
Incredible. And I saw this movie with my dad. So that was an interesting dynamic. But I was just sitting there crying. And he was like, that's fine. And I was like, I don't understand what this means for women. But sorry, that's my.
Hey,
we're getting there.
No, we're not saying sorry about our opinions, because there'd be no panel of 4 men that would say sorry about any of their opinions. So no, you take that story back. You are right, and you should say it. Absolutely.
You know,
I'm
sometimes
not
I
sorry.
forget Liz is Canadian, and then she says sorry.
Sorry.
I remember.
So true. So true. Alexis, are you ready for your number 4?
Yeah. No Way Home, which I just saw this week. And I will say, I am not a Spider-Man girly. I am not a Peter Parker person. It personally offends me that we have had 3 series about Peter Parker when there are so many cool spider people that you could have done movies on if you wanted to continue to tell the Spider-Man story. You could have done a Miles Morales story. You could have done a Silk story. For the love of God, I will do anything for a Silk
For
story.
the love of God, give me Spider-Gwen.
Okay, I've said this so many times, but like Marvel, I'm going to just pitch you an idea and you can take it. You don't even have to credit me for it. I do not understand.
Wait.
Alexis deserves proper compensation for her opinions.
Oh, I'm literally trying to type that. Just hold on.
Okay. I'm
Hold
going
on.
to freeze.
You
everything.
cannot have her ideas for free.
There you go.
It is astounding to me that we do not have a 6-episode Disney Plus miniseries called Gwen Stacy and the Mary Janes that's shot like The Office, but is a story of their rock band while Gwen keeps disappearing to be Spider-Gwen. I don't know how we haven't gotten that yet. So all of that being said, I went into this movie.
What do you mean all of that being said? I need like 10 minutes to think about that. No, full pause. Can you continue that just for a moment? Because I'm not going to listen to anything you say until it's like completely.
Okay, so Gwen Stacy is a character that is very beloved in the comics. I think people that haven't read the comics are very interested in who she is. I think Into the Spider-Verse did a good job at kind of introducing some of those characters. Mm-hmm. And to me, when you're talking about like a Disney Plus format, they've kind of formatted all of their shows except What If, as if they were just elongated movies. But I think doing like a series, like something more like WandaVision, but filmed like The Office, because it's filmed like a mockumentary about Gwen Stacy and the Mary Janes, is not only a great way to introduce more of these multiversal ideas, but to also soft introduce Gwen Stacy into the Marvel Universe. And I don't know how that hasn't happened yet.
Genius.
The comments are agreeing with you. And with that, we're going to move back to the spoiler banner just because I don't want to. There's lots of people that are just joining us. So I want to make sure everyone knows we are talking spoilers for every Marvel project. Alexis, you're brilliant. I would love to see it.
But that being said, I went to No Way Home with kind of low expectations, not because I thought it was going to be a bad movie, but because I'm just over Spider-Man, right? And in a movie that was rumored to have 3 Peter Parkers, I was like, really? I've had enough of Peter Parker. Like, I don't need more Peter Parker. I enjoyed that movie so much. I laughed so hard. The joke about Tobey Maguire looking like a youth pastor, I literally laughed so loud.
That was a joke that was written for you. That joke was written for you.
Text Alexis sent after she walked out of the theater. Like a youth pastor?
I died. I loved seeing Ned and his family and getting a little bit more about that backstory. I loved Liz's prediction coming true. I needed actually more of that. I'm
gonna circle back on that point.
Okay, so cool. That's that. But I loved everything about that. So there you go.
Yeah.
No Way Home.
Valid.
Okay, I need to provide context for all of you. So,
I've accepted it at this point. I'm fine. It's fine.
Hold that thought.
Please tell me we can pull these images and make a gift set.
Oh yeah.
Okay, sorry, Sly. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Before WandaVision, I had seen from the MCU, I had seen both Guardians, Age of Ultron, and Spider-Man Homecoming. That was it. That was all the MCU I had experienced. And then I watched WandaVision, and I had feelings, okay? Most of them not positive. I didn't like that I didn't know who anybody was, right? Like, I was like, I kind of remember a few of these people from, Avengers, but I had watched that movie in theaters way back when it was released. So, like, I remembered very little. And I had a lot of strong feelings about Wanda, her actions with, like, her relationship with Vision. There was a lot of feelings about the, like, gaslighting that I was kind of projecting onto the characters that I now acknowledge were more I was feeling things than what was actually happening in the show. But that's
we
a
love
different
growth.
conversation.
Well, we love growth.
I appreciate how much it's done for, like, setting up the TV shows and for setting up the future, and its achievement as a show is incredible. Yeah, I watched it again and appreciated it a lot more. But that was my introduction to the MCU. Basically, like, that was the first Marvel project I watched, and that started my journey this year. So I have to give it so much appreciation. But yeah, I had so many problems with it the first time I watched it. So it's there. Number 4. Not bad. Not great.
I will say that I
love
think
all of
No,
my
go
top
ahead.
5, just so we're clear.
I will say, Sly, what you've said is so beautiful, and I think it represents the journey a lot of people went on this year. And I think it also speaks to how WandaVision as a show was designed to open the door for more people to come in and be a show that people could project into and see themselves into, and then because of that, find a place within the MCU community in a way that past projects weren't able to accomplish. So, like, kudos to you for being just like, how grateful are we all that, like, that was the door that opened the MCU for Sly, because geez, the commentary that you have provided us, and it's only been a year that you've been around, like 10 out of 10.
The experience that started, I've watched, all the movies, all the TV shows, all of the other related projects, whatever, and now I'm just starting, picking up with all the other Marvel related movies with MC University, right? So, like, that show really changed my life this year. So,
Oh, my heart's so
it's been a
warm.
good time.
Yes, love. I don't remember. Oh, yes. All right. Falcon and the Winter Soldier is in my number 4 spot. It was my favorite show of the year, so I just want to, like, make that clear. And it was number 1 for a lot of the year for me. I loved the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I think there was a lot of problems with the show, and I really wish we had gotten the version of the show that was not edited, and that we had the pandemic story that they had written, and we had the vaccine story that they had written, and I really want to know what that version of the show would have been like. I will say I think it was a mistake that they changed it, because now there's so much media coming out that's pandemic-based media that I think in the long run, if the Falcon and the Winter Soldier had gotten to that story first, it would have done a lot. It would have had such a big impact, right? So we'll never know, I guess, what that story was. But the story we did get, I think, was and considering what we did get, by completely separating that train of thought out of it, I think it was beautiful. I think Sam Wilson is, like, honestly, and I've never said this out loud before, this is, like, exclusive, Sam Wilson is absolutely competing for like my number one MCU character slot now against Bucky Barnes. So I think that also plays into it because like it was a show about Bucky and Sam, so I was the happiest ever. I'm so pro Sam Wilson taking over the Captain America mantle, so that was beautiful. It was such a horrible time in the fandom for so many reasons. Like it got so toxic, but I do think that it showed a lot of people in the community, like who the bright voices and the bright stars are and the beautiful things that happen when we can support each other and when we can rally around people. Oh, I get emotional thinking about it. And I am so excited for what it set up. And then on a lighter note, it gave me my favorite introduction to Marissa ever. My first like interactions of knowing Marissa was a person was through the Bucky holding the cake memes. So I'm so happy that is how I like
iconic.
I didn't know that origin story. Oh my god.
Very much. So I'm so glad that it was not WandaVision. It was nothing with like hair in the MCU. It was the Bucky meme that I was like, oh, she's like worth following. That's so funny. So it also gave me Marissa in a very like roundabout way.
Thanks.
When I say I now think in your tweets about that meme, like something will happen to me and I will be like, this is my Bucky with the cake moment.
You can have it. It's free. Other people have used it. You can use that format whenever you feel like it.
Yeah. You really
Please
trademarked
do.
that though as part of your brand this year. And I really appreciate that for you. Yeah, I also just want to quickly say, I think it's so important. And I think that this is like a very underrated show in terms of how it wrote its women. I think that this show actually had some of the best writing for Sam's sister. And again, I'm sorry, I'm not remembering any names right now, but
Sarah.
thank you.
Sarah.
I really enjoyed how her display of strength was shown through so many different angles in that show. It was shown through her children, shown through the whole boat sequence, shown through how she cared for Sam and the relationship that they were able to mend. And it was like, what a multifaceted person, not just as a woman, but as a character, as a person, to watch her kind of unfold in the way she did. And I really hope that she's coming back in future projects and that we can see more characters written with that very diverse storytelling lens, because it was just so nice to watch. That's it. Next, shall we continue? All right.
All of the words Liz just said. I loved this show. I did not want to watch it. Listen, I love Bucky. I loved Bucky before the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I didn't necessarily love him enough to watch a buddy cop show, which was how it was being marketed. I like the MCU Disney Plus shows have this thing where they're sold as something that they are not. Hawkeye was sold as a Christmas show when it wasn't really a Christmas show. Falcon and the Winter Soldier was sold as this like buddy cop action team up thing when it was actually a really introspective story about race in America and trauma and like so much more than just like run pew pew, which is what I thought I was gonna get. But like I was hooked immediately after that first episode. I loved this show so much. And Sam Wilson is the definitive Captain America for me, and I say that as a Steve Rogers like day one fan. It's Sam Wilson 100%. Yeah, I love this show. I watch it all the time. I was
about to say, did everyone understand how often Marissa watches it? Yeah. Can I add one point that you reminded me of really quickly? Because like I will never be able to shut up. We should have done an after party for the show, honestly. Maybe we can like go back and redo it.
To talk about it today.
It also gave me like my favorite Bucky moment ever, which actually trumps the Bucky jumping on the motorcycle move, which is my favorite Bucky moment ever. But this actually outranks it.
That's why Civil War is your favorite. Is because
okay, well, that's a conversation for another time. It's a conversation for another time.
I was going to say, these project rankings can be highly controversial. They will not be more controversial than that.
We will discuss on a future show. But the moment when Bucky's holding the Nerf, I'm not going to say it, but y'all know. And then has the bullets in the other hand. And that moment to me, honestly, was like, the metaphors were so obvious and clear, but I was like I ate it up. Like that moment, I was like crying on my couch at like 6 a.m. because like we had to work that day, and I was like, I'm not like going on with my day unless we watch this. So like the sun's rising in the background, and we're like bleary eyed with coffee, and I'm like, this is art. This is cinema. I love Marvel.
This is art.
And then
Anyway.
I go and make a joke out of it like 5 times. This stupid popped collar and the slow motion. It's the most dramatic Bucky Barnes moment,
It is.
like
It really
possibly
is.
ever.
Yeah.
It's definitely the most dramatic post Winter Soldier Bucky Barnes moment.
Yeah. All right, Alexis, are you ready for your number 3?
Ready. Okay. So
I'm shocked.
my top 3 were really difficult. I will preface this by saying I actually have a ton of issues with this movie. But
I thought it was going to be lower
yeah, Black
because
Widow,
you complain about it all the time.
I have so many issues with this movie, okay? But you have to understand, like, I have read Marvel Comics for a really long time. I have wanted a Black Widow movie since Iron Man. And so I spent all of that time thinking about what a perfect Black Widow movie would be. And this wasn't it for me. So I went into this movie with problems. But this was also a movie that I related with a lot. I came out of this movie sobbing because it was one of the times that I felt like stories like mine were being told in the MCU. And also the first 20 minutes of this movie to me were some of my favorite 20 minutes of film that have ever happened, right? The other thing I will say about this movie that I loved is that it both played on and satisfied comic book nerds, right? The first 20 minutes of this movie to me stand out because I remember being in the theater with my brother and being like, this is not right. What is this? Like, where is this coming from? Like, this is not any sort of like Black Widow story I know. And it made it so much more interesting. Like, to me, I was like, well, this is a piece of the story that should have been canon, right? The last chunk of that movie where she breaks her nose, that was almost panel from a comic, Black Widow, the 2010 run. But it actually updated it in a way that was much less problematic than it had been when it was originally in the comic, right? Which was very satisfying for me as a comic book fan. So I complain about this movie a lot. You can watch all my TikToks about it. I was on a podcast about how much I disliked this movie, which is linked in my bio. But it gets a number 3 slot because of all of the things that it did right, even if there were lots of things it did wrong.
I love that. That makes me so happy.
Before we continue to mine, I want to say I'm heartbroken that this got my number 3. I wish I could have put it higher.
Oh, now I know what it is. Yes.
It's Shang-Chi. I loved this movie. I went to the theater to watch this movie 3 times opening weekend, right? I loved this movie. A part of the reason I went to see it 3 times, I watched it 1 time with captions and had to constantly move the box, the full movie, because it had the subtitles on the screen, right? So I watched it, was frustrated the full time. I watched it again with no captions for the English, and then I watched it again a 3rd time. But I really enjoyed it. I thought it was one of the best projects that you didn't need to know everything to watch. And that's so important for me as a new fan, right? It was the first movie I watched after I had finished all of the other MCU projects. And there were so many projects that I had just seen that you need so much information for them to like make sense, right? And I was so happy that they finally had a movie that you didn't need to watch like so many hours of content to understand. And I think it was like just so well done. I have so much love for this movie. I don't know what else to say. I just love it so much.
Beautifully said. Beautifully said. I have to say, my disclaimer going into my top 3 rankings is that these are my top 3 Marvel projects of all time, which is shocking for me because I really didn't think anything would make me like top Black Panther, which is my favorite Marvel movie, but and maybe it's recency bias, and I'll revisit, and Black Panther will like come back up towards the top of my Marvel rankings. But honestly, these 3 films are like, they all could be number 1, but because we're ranking them and like we like drama and chaos on the show, I had to put them in some kind of order. So here we go. I'm with you, Sly. This is one of my favorite Marvel projects. To me, it felt like because I didn't see Captain America, the first Avenger in theaters. I didn't see Iron Man 1 in theaters, but I imagine this must have been a similar experience to the people that were able to see those kind of first stories on screen to be like, oh my God, wow, like what are we getting into with this? And that was super cool. And I think that the women were written very well, like better than most Marvel projects. And that was really exciting to see as well. There were strong women. There was diversified. What did I say about the other project? Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I'm like really tired and not feeling well tonight, everyone. Like the storytelling of the women, they were very multifaceted and diverse in how those stories were told and represented on screen. And I thought that was really cool to see that no one felt one-dimensional to me in that movie. And Canadian, obviously leading, like Simu, loved that. So I have bias in that way too. But yeah, nothing bad to say about this movie. I loved it. I've watched it so many times on Disney Plus. It's like I watch WandaVision when I'm hungover, and then I put on Shang-Chi. I watched it when I put up my Christmas tree. I watched it when we moved into our new place and we had no furniture. It was the first movie I put on to make me feel like I was at home. Yeah, I love this movie. That's it. All right. Number 2 slots. How are we feeling, everybody? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. No. If we're not going to me, keep going.
No, we are going to you.
Okay. I just want to say before you put it up on the screen that I think it should be a number 3, but I was no. It's fine. I think I would have flipped 2 and 3, but it's fine.
Okay.
It's No Way Home.
Oh, okay.
I didn't care about this movie for a long time before I saw it. Like I like MCU.
It's
Peter
true.
Parker.
We have receipts that Marissa
Yeah.
didn't care about.
We'll get there. I like MCU Peter Parker. I think his movies have been cute. Like they're very much like, you know, high school coming of age stories. I think that's sort of weird given his trauma and like the history and whatever. Like the vibe of the movies has kind of always been sort of weird, but they're fun to watch. But I wasn't like, this is the movie of the year. And then Elizabeth at Producer Liz bullied me into watching all of the Tobey Maguire Spider-Mans and rewatching all of the Andrew Garfield Spider-Mans. And granted, I was already riding a Andrew Garfield Tick Tick Boom high at this point. Mm-hmm. So I was really Team Andrew. I'm still Team Andrew. Mm-hmm. I was really just like, I love Andrew Garfield and I will go see a movie if maybe Andrew Garfield is going to be in it. And at that point, like for months, can I just say, we've given you spoiler warnings. If I'm spoiling the movie for you at this point, I'm sorry. But for months, I did not believe that they were in it. Like truly, I was like, I saw every single leak. I saw it all, and I was like, but that could be fake. My brother's a visual effects artist. I was like, you can fake anything. And then I'll tell you what turned the corner for me. Tom Holland was on Jimmy Kimmel the night of the premiere. And I don't know, somebody asked him if he was excited for it or something, and all he said was, I'm just excited not to lie anymore. And I was like, oh, they're absolutely in it. I can't wait to see this movie. And it totally turned around for me. So thank you, Liz, for forcing me to see all of those movies.
Welcome.
I'm so glad I did. It made the movie so much more exciting. I really wasn't expecting a lot going in. I felt like I pretty much understood what was going to happen. And I did. But it was just so fun. It was just so well done. And I love Andrew Garfield a lot. And I was really happy with his arc in this movie. And Liz was right.
I will say, I have not laughed the way that I laughed over your text commentary watching your way through Spider-Man. If anything ever happens to you, or if you become famous, I'm releasing those in a book. You cannot stop me. It will just be
I was like, I didn't text you watching No Way Home, but you're talking about the other. I had a lot of feelings.
Oh my
There was
gosh.
a lot of feelings.
I have laughed. Oh.
Yeah. Especially Amazing Spider-Man 2. There was a lot of great commentary when you got to Amazing Spider-Man 2. And Marissa and I also rewatched all the Spider-Man movies. And by the time you got to Spider-Man 3, we were pretty well watching them in sync. Within 24 hours of each other, we were watching them, which made it even more chaotic because our references were so to the millisecond. Anyway, Alexis, maybe we can co-write that book together.
Yes. And Marissa's confusion over the tone of the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movie was everything I have ever thought. It ping-ponged back and forth for a solid 15 minutes. I was like, that is just my brain. But Marissa has said all the words.
Yeah.
Okay, Alexis, here's your number 2. Oh, sorry.
Oh, no. Just, I'm still not sure if I had seen Amazing Spider-Man 2 before last month. I still don't know. And I have such a weird memory of that movie. That's for another time, but okay.
The way I don't think I can possibly put into words the way that I love this movie. It's interesting to me because I am always somebody who's always really wanted to be Natasha Romanoff. Always, right? That my life has been closely modeled, both intentionally and unintentionally, to be able to be Natasha Romanoff. And I think when I watched Shang-Chi, Zhao has a line, or a line is said to her about her involvement in martial arts, because she's sitting on the sidelines and she's watching all of these other people fight. And something is said to her along the lines of you don't have to sit on the outside anymore. You can be a part of it. The way the way I sobbed in the theater, I don't think I have felt more seen than that moment. As somebody who had to beg to be able to take karate because my brother was able to take it, I wasn't. So I sat on the sidelines and I begged for a solid year until I was able to take my first karate class. And I was 5 years old. And ever since then, I've been a martial artist, right? So that was really impactful and important to me. The fight scenes in this movie, we always say that good fight choreography tells a story, but I don't think I have ever seen fight choreography used to move a story forward and to tell a story the way it was in Shang-Chi. I understood the story and the relationships in this movie through the fight scenes. I remember because I was teaching students that lived in mainland China at the time, but my brother and I went to see this together. And the impact it had on me that the first 20 minutes of that movie weren't in English was extraordinary. because it just
Mhm.
instantly felt like all of my students could sit and watch this movie and feel that they had been accepted and invited into a universe that they were so often cut out of, and it just destroyed me. So
I
those are
want
my
to add
thoughts
to
on
that
Shang-Chi.
because as a person whose primary language is not English, that hit me so hard as well. And I think so many people can relate to that. Like, I don't speak Mandarin, right? Like, I have no idea, like, about that language, but understanding the importance of seeing your primary language represented, that impact was so inspirational for me. And then, later getting to experience that same, moment with my language in the MCU later really gave me so much love for that movie.
And I think now is a good moment to shout out to Voices of Atlas, who are in the chat, and Johnny, who is probably still here, maybe still here, but was in the chat earlier. They do a really phenomenal show. They talk about a lot of different things, but each of the 4 creators on that show has done incredible commentary around Shang-Chi, both on their talk, on the show Voices of Atlas. So they're our friends. We fully support that show. We support those creators, and I highly encourage, if you watch our show, you will love what they do, and you will love their commentary about everything in the MCU as well. So definitely go check them out. They are somewhere in the chat. Let me pull up a comment just so everyone can see who I'm referring to. This is a good one. Johnny just said Liz. I don't remember what this was in reference to. Probably when I brought up Shang-Chi, but this is the show. Check them out across all the platforms. They're such a great group. We super support them here. Yeah. Sly, are you ready for your number 2 ranking?
Yes.
Reluctant.
So I just, again, context, right? So I watched WandaVision with no experience in the MCU. And then the Falcon and the Winter Soldier started releasing, and everybody was talking about it, and my entire For You page was Sebastian Stan. And then I said to my friends, who are all huge Marvel fans, right? I said, what do I need to watch to appreciate this show? And they gave me a list. And that started my viewing experience of those movies. And so I watched through all of the Cap movies and everything else that I had wanted to watch, but never got to because I didn't know what was happening in that world. And so I just avoided it. Whatever. So before this show, I watched so many Marvel movies. And then I watched The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I have a lot of problems with this show, okay? I'm not saying it's perfect, not even close. There are so many problems. The story, has some questionable moments, how they represent, some characters, whatever. But it introduced me to the MCU. It introduced me to Marvel in general. It introduced me to all of you. And so I have so much love for what that show, did for my life this past year. So because of that, because of the impact on my life, it's number 2. And, I have not talked about this show anywhere because that was my first actual critical watching of a Marvel project. But I would love to sometime.
We can do a rewind show. Maybe we'll do a Falcon and the Winter Soldier special and
it.
try and sum up all of our commentary for 6 episodes and a year of thought in 2 hours.
But yeah, that kickstarted my journey through the MCU, so it gets a number 2 spot. Yeah, I don't know what else to say.
I think your reasoning is spectacular. And I think that it's so valid to be ranking these shows about experience over like the critical eye. Because everyone's got like critical eye around like everything. And because of that, like no one can have the same like ranking in theories. It also kind of plays into why, even though I think I prefer Shang-Chi over Black Widow, like in general, this is a really hard number 2, number 3. For me, Black Widow had to be number 2. Like when I was looking at my rankings, I was like, there's just no way Black Widow can't be like number 1 or number 2 for me. And I'll give my number 1 story because it's quite extensive and it's very funny. And there's a lot of reasons why my number 1 is what it is. But Black Widow feels like the people that get it, and the people that don't. And if you're someone that gets it, it is what it is. And Alexis said a lot of things beautifully, and this movie makes me cry constantly. I've watched it like on the plane. I've watched it like on my iPad getting ready. I've watched it like on my phone at night, like in my bed when I can't sleep. I love this movie. I love this movie. Not perfect, obviously. Lots of things that like can be critically discussed and talked about. But I also a funny reason why I really enjoy this movie. It's the first Marvel movie that I went to the movie theater and they actually had in stock like the special item with your popcorn purchase. Like I never got a cup. I never got like any of the special stuff. Sometimes my movie theater just doesn't get it, but they had the Black Widow popcorn buckets. So I have Natasha when I open my, right? So when I opened my cupboard,
to the IMAX screening and I got a comic.
That's so cool. I love that. Ooh. Every time I open my cupboard in the morning to get like a plate or a mug, I have Natasha staring down at me, which is very funny. So I'm literally always thinking about Black Widow because I'll take a photo and send it in the group chat. Maybe I'll post it on my TikTok. Like she's right. Every morning, Natasha says good morning to me via my cupboard. My one complaint about the popcorn bucket is that it's Taskmaster on the other side, and I don't understand why they didn't put Yelena on the other side of the bucket. But anyway.
I love Taskmaster. At least in this portrayal. Yeah.
I love that for you.
I want to say, so most of the time I'm on podcasts, I'm talking about video games. I hate Taskmaster from the Spider-Man PS4 game.
Which is funny because that, to me, would be a more comic accurate portrayal of Taskmaster.
Oh, for sure. I know that. It's more accurate, but I don't like it.
I love that. I think we could talk about Taskmaster literally forever. I have so many thoughts, and I've heard like 20 minutes of Alexis's voice messages about Taskmaster. So let's just like put the pin in it right now before we all go sideways and we never hear the number 1s. Marissa.
We all know.
But listen, I want to set this up for you, okay? Because like this show has been so slanderous to your number 1. And I think like the whole world deserves to hear your take on your number 1 show in its entirety, in the shirt, in the moment. Marissa, this is your moment.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
My number 1 is WandaVision. It's been WandaVision since February because I didn't watch the show until February. So, this is another one where it's like experience and there's context behind it. So, how much of my life story do I want to give you? Not a lot. Basically,
I was going to say, we're an hour and a half into the show and we haven't even gotten to part 2 of the show yet. So I'll the whole story.
Let me just say, I had extenuating circumstances and I was not able to watch the show when it was first released. So I picked it up around episode 4, I think. I watched episodes 1 through 4 all together. And I feel like that might have something to do with why I love it so much more than you guys, because I didn't have to wait for like any answers, essentially.
I watched like all but the last episode together.
Oh. So
and that last week, I just plowed through it.
But like, I didn't have to really wait for a little bit of an explanation, But also, I didn't care. I was in from episode 1. Like, I joked on Twitter when I was talking about this show this week that I was going to bring footage of me crying, and I did not send it to Liz, but I have footage of me crying to every episode. Like, I cried episode 1, not because I thought it was like beautiful, well, not because like it was emotional or like touching or something. I cried because I was like, I cannot believe what I am watching right now. This is art. This is a thing that I'm experiencing that like is impactful to me. And it feels like, if you really want to, you can do a deep dive on my Twitter. I did a live tweet of me watching the first 4 episodes, and it's a lot of me being like, this is exactly my thing. Oh my God. Because it is exactly my thing. I am getting a degree in American Studies with a concentration in popular culture and media studies. Like, American culture and society through media is my thing. And that is what this show is. Sort of in its design, at least. And I just love it. And I don't really care to have any critical thoughts about it. Like, there are things that I don't like about it and things that I think are weaker. I have a lot of complaints about how they wrapped things up. But at the same time, I've watched it probably 15 times all the way through. I notice something new. I get something new out of it every time I watch it. And I just really love it. And I don't know. I don't have anything else to say about it.
Can we add JJ's comment?
It was a testament to TV as an art form that I never knew I needed. Yeah. And I have to say, I love D23. I love D23. It's very fun for me when Disney announces all their new projects. I thought WandaVision was the stupidest idea when I first heard it. I was like, okay, first of all, these characters don't do anything in the MCU. And you're going to put them through the decades with like, and there's not going to, but what are you getting out of, what is the point of this? Is it just like for fun and like pretty costumes? Why? But like from episode 1, I was like, oh, this is exactly my vibe. This is exactly like the culmination of my interests. The tone was very much my thing, where it's just like a little bit off, but still very like, you know, grounded in what it is. And it was like a small enough scale that it was just this one town. Like, yeah, we get it. I love WandaVision. Thank you and good night.
I will say, when I was ranking WandaVision, I had the visual image of you in your Halloween costume on my shoulder, like a very disappointed Wanda angel, being like, Alexis,
Oh,
what
I love
are
that.
you doing?
That's fair. I truly apologize for like my 9 through 6 rank. Well, no. I apologize for my 7 through 6 ranking. But you know, we all have our own things, and that's fair. It's fair.
Yeah, I think
it's fine.
that's beautiful. Yes. Okay, Alexis, are you ready for your number 1?
I am.
Pop off, bestie.
So I have already seen criticism of my choice, and here's what I will say. Okay, I can understand how people could switch my Falcon and Winter Soldier and Hawkeye. Like, I think those are similar shows in the way that they were shown, right? They had kind of similar energy. And I have probably an equal amount of issues with both of them. So I can see, you're valid. I hear you. I see why they could be switched. But here's the thing, right? For me, not only did I just have a great experience around Falcon and the Winter Soldier, it was really when I first started like getting into TikTok and, you know, making content that was both accepted and not accepted. Bucky has been my favorite for so long, so I was going to do anything for like screen time for him. But it was also for all of its problems, and really for me, all of the issues, like this show had so many more issues in the way that they talked about it afterwards. Like if they would have just let the show lie, it would have been different for me. But I will say, this was the first time for me, and really almost the only time, I think there's maybe a couple arguments, where I felt Marvel was bold in the story that it chose to tell. And I never feel that way about Marvel. I constantly feel like they pretend that they're going to introduce a really meaningful idea and then they take it away. And for me, choosing to tell the story about Black experience in America was just incredibly impactful. Like the decision that they made to do that was very impactful to me. I will also say this show does way better than Hawkeye for me, because there are moments, and I think for people that watch Hawkeye, there were probably moments that they really like enjoyed and like that stuck with them. But for me, it was this show. Like I think about small moments from this show all the time. And the Dora, to me, like I would do their inclusion in this show and who they are to me, like I just, yeah. So anyway, that and the finale of this show to me, and the boat dock stuff with the cake, like Hawkeye wasn't going to beat that. It just wasn't. Right?
You're so valid for that.
Please consider all of those words and pretend like Falcon and the Winter Soldier is number 2 for me.
Well, okay, but the Falcon and the Winter, like WandaVision's like special place in heart, and then the Falcon and the Winter Soldier is like a whole other experience. I think
100%, and I watch them both once a week.
Yeah.
I will also say that there was a number 1 tie for me. Liz and I discussed this, so I feel like I'm safe in saying this. That for me, Falcon and the Winter Soldier tied first place with the Alpine show that I had written in my head that Marvel never produced. So that would actually be my true number 1 slot, but we didn't want to mess up the graphics. So those are
Thank you
tied
for that.
number 1.
Yeah. So please know that is the true number 1 for all of our rankings. It's like there's a rank above number 1. Like platinum status is the Alpine show that we got via Alexis's commentary this year. It's not anything Marvel produced. All right, Sly, you're number 1.
Yep. Eternals.
Wow.
Who's shocked? This movie was everything, and I will admit most of my love for this movie is how I watched it. Right? I watched it before it released with a theater of all deaf people from the Seattle deaf community, and it was my first experience in the deaf community here. Like I just moved from my community, and so it was my first experience meeting so many deaf people. There were so many adorable kids running around, and knowing that they got to experience their language with a superhero for the first time at the same time as I was so emotional. It was a beautiful experience. I watched it with open captions. It was amazing. I love what it did. I love that they were telling a story with like non-linear-ish storyline. I love that. I love that expression. The characters all felt so unique and different, and characters that fit into common tropes, but in a really interesting way. Lauren Ridloff is the love of my life, and it's just everything I could ask for in a superhero movie in Eternals. It was the first time that my number 1 MCU movie was not Captain Marvel. Like I had watched Captain Marvel in my journey like before the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and that was my number 1 until Eternals. And I don't know, this movie is so good. Today I scrubbed through watching it like in a different language. We'll talk about why later, but like still it just reminded me how much I just love this movie. It's everything I could ask for. It's amazing.
I'm gonna have a long cry about that later. I'm someone that like has a delayed reaction with like something that makes my heart feel good and warm, and then like my actual genuine reaction to it. So like, don't mind me like 5 hours from now and I'm sobbing because I'm so happy for you. That's so beautiful. That is so wonderful.
It just everything about that experience, the movie itself, like just all that together. It's incredible, and I'm so happy that I had the opportunity to experience that, and it's perfect.
Wow. I love that. Ugh. Marissa, Alexis, anything y'all want to say before we move on?
I remember getting a message from Sly after they left that first screening. Like, I wish I remembered what you said, but you were like essentially just like in shock. And I was so happy for you.
I said, wow. That was it.
And
I texted all caps, wow.
And I think,
and nothing else.
Yeah.
And you asked me, is that a good wow or a bad wow? And I was like,
because I think I was the next person in the chat to see it. And so I was, and then afterwards I understood. I was like, no, I get it. I'm so I'm so happy that you had that experience. That's incredible.
So
I had to wait 2 days to talk about that movie with anyone.
That's the worst part of your experience, that you have to sit with it.
Yeah. 2 days and I could say nothing. It was a struggle.
I want to commend you for that, because like you really could have blown up on TikTok if you're like, I'm gonna spoil the entire Eternals movie for you like right now, and you chose not to do that, and I commend you for that. There's people I don't think that would have made that choice. They would have been like, hey, I'm gonna spoil everything and be the first to say things. Nope, you held your ground. I respect you for that.
Thank you.
Alexis, do you want to say something?
I was able to see, I didn't see this movie early. I actually saw this movie pretty late, but the deaf community in my area did kind of weekly showings where they gather to watch this movie with open captions. And I was invited to go to one. And so that's how I watched this movie. I watched it with a bunch of lovely deaf people and kids with open captions on the screen. And I really enjoyed that experience. And I remember afterwards being like, I just trying to imagine and crying over how much I thought that Sly, it must have enjoyed that same experience. And then this week, it was a great movie, but it was kind of a bummer for me to go see No Way Home, because I expected that same feeling. Like I expected open captions on the screen, and I accepted this sense of community. And like, it felt almost like I was getting doused in cold water to not have that experience, and to actually have deaf people behind me who had to watch with the caption box and had a lot of trouble understanding and relating to that movie because they had to watch it in that way. And it was just,
I had to watch with the glasses. I hate the glasses.
We are an anti-glasses show. We stand
We're an
behind
anti
you.
what? I didn't hear you.
The glasses.
Glasses. The box is fine.
Yes,
fine.
yeah.
I'm used to the box. Now the closest theater to me only has the glasses, and I hate them. And I know I will get used to them, but right now I hate them so much.
Can we say that like captioned screenings should just be a norm in every movie theater?
Please, just
like,
open captions all the time.
What? Yeah.
I'm a loud
understand,
chewer.
like,
I would pick a captioned screening every single time.
Thank you. Yes.
I don't understand why
and
that's not a norm. Go ahead, Alexis.
I remember when I first started learning ASL, one of the things that my teacher had suggested to me was to start watching movies and TV with open captions, right? Just to like have that experience, right? She was like, this will be really interesting for you because this is how, like I understand the world and my children understand the world. And this was like a long, long time ago, right? And I remember doing this in my family and my brother and my dad pushing back on this for like a week and being like, well, it's really confusing for me to see the words on the screen. And now every member of my family watches everything with open captions. Like if we do not have captions on the screen, it's like somebody is rushing to fix it because that is how we understand media, right? And so it's so weird for me that like movie theaters don't do that because I'm like, it would literally you may hear like talk back about it for like 2 weeks and then everybody would get used to it and nobody would care. Like,
I want to add to that, one of the most common criticisms of open captions is many people will argue that it's confusing for dyslexics. I'm dyslexic. So imagine my struggles with open captions. Like, I need them. I don't understand English well. It's not my primary language, and I'm dyslexic. So get over yourself.
For real.
Sorry, I got spicy.
No, you're allowed to get spicy. I just feel bad that I should have put you last in the list. Like this should have been the note we ended this on. Now I have to talk, and I am
a funny story.
yeah.
All
Got
right.
a good old knee slap.
All right. I don't know why there was no animation for that. My number one's No Way Home. There's a lot of stories that I'm not going to share around why this is number one, but I will tell everyone. I'm going to fill everyone in on what happened with me in this movie. In the most chronological way possible, because it truly is a chronological story. It actually goes back to 2019, and it was February of 2019, and I was doing a major filming project with a video team, and the director of the project is a Spider-Man fan, and this rumor came out that like the Spider-Man project was in the works, and that there was going to be all 3 Spider-Mans in it. And I was like, did you hear there's going to be 3 Spider-Mans in the Spider-Man movie that's coming out? And like the director was like, there's no way that that's happening. And like, this person's a major Spider-Man fan. So when they're like, there's just like, no way. Like that'd be fine. But like, no. I was like, yeah, okay. Yeah. Like I trust you on that opinion. So then like we fast forward, right? Now I'm on TikTok. I'm doing my thing. And I'm like, this is going to be it. And then we start doing these live shows, and I make the mistake of sharing my most unpopular opinion. And we're talking, I said this during the Loki after parties, right? So beginning of this summer, I want that on the record. I'm actually going to go through and find every instance in which I've said this, because I do think I was one of the first people on the internet to actively be promoting this concept.
Absolutely.
I said
you were talking absolute nonsense.
And I have receipts from everyone, like including Marissa, especially being very spicy in response, being like, "You're so wrong for saying that the best Spider-Man pairing would be Andrew's Peter Parker and Zendaya's MJ. Like those 2 actors, their portrayals, the personalities they put into the characters together, that would be the best Spider-Man pairing." I got like obliterated for saying that across every platform. I said it on YouTube, Twitch. I had it on my TikTok. I took it down because people were so mean about it. So I was like, I'm just going to keep that to myself. And then we got closer to Spider-Man, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to rewatch all the movies. And Sly's like, oh, do you want to come on MC University and we'll talk about Andrew, Zendaya, MJ, Peter thing?
I supported it. I want to be clear. I was a supporter for that pairing.
And I respect you for that.
Yeah, Marissa was not. I was neutral. Marissa was not.
I was like, yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. And I love that you came on the train with me. We were, what's the Elmo meme going around right now? Like, Elmo chugs along like a train. That was me like driving this train by myself till Sly jumped on. I ended up not going on MC University because I was having like flashbacks to the hate that I was receiving over this opinion. I was like, I don't know if I can like do this.
I'm taking you with us.
Bring me in there.
I'm bringing you in. Yeah.
Yes. Okay, good. So changing the timeline, I will be going on MC University to discuss this in depth with receipts of every time I've said it. And then Marissa sees No Way Home. And
Oh,
Marissa,
yeah.
and then Marissa texts the group chat. And then Marissa tweets.
Liz
And
was-
then Marissa texts Liz privately and says, "You're right." And I don't know what I was doing. My phone's on like do not disturb or something. So like I literally turn on my phone and like ding, 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 ding. And all I'm seeing is Liz, you're right. Liz, you're right. And I had a couple other people that had seen Spider-Man like that day being like, have you seen it? We need to talk about it. And like some people messaged me that like I just did not expect to hear from. So I'm like, something's happened. Either Harry Styles is back or I've done something. Because this is like, no one messaged me like this around Black Widow. No one messaged me like this around Hawkeye, knowing I was doing a show. Like I was like, something is in the air with this project. And then COVID in my area just like went straight through the roof. And we had purchased our most expensive tickets to see it in IMAX and our favorite seats, like whatever. And we made the decision not to go to the screening because COVID was so bad and we had to like protect our health and whatnot. And that was a very hard choice to make because I was like, I want to know what I'm right about. I'm a triple fire sign. I'm a Leo. I can't handle that I'm right about something and I don't know what. Marissa, I don't know if you remember exactly what you said, but I was going through the group chat messages and I couldn't find it. But eventually I do see No Way Home. And I immediately am like, this is my favorite movie. And Marissa's like, Liz watched Spider-Man on a potato and is still ranking at number one because that's how much she loves this movie.
Yep.
And I'm like, yes, this is true.
You posted something about your like ranking or something, and I was like, you watched a recording of the movie on an iPhone
At, like,
uploaded
3
to the internet at 3 o'clock in the morning, and it is still your favorite
my
MCU
number
movie.
one movie.
She had said like 6 times, I'm going to go to sleep. I'm going to sleep.
Oh, yes.
I'll see you in the group chat in just a minute. I'm going to sleep.
Yeah.
And then like an hour later, oh, we're watching No Way Home.
We're watching Spider-Man right now. I have yet to see Spider-Man in full in HD quality. Anything I've seen in HD has been via TikTok. I feel like there were so many jokes in the movie I did not hear. Like I had no idea the youth pastor joke happened. I had no idea what Toby's Peter and Andrew's Peter were saying in the lab scene to each other. Like no idea what was happening. I was judging that whole moment based off of Andrew's face. Like no clue what they were saying to each other. I missed the Andrew Garfield "I love you" line. I missed so much of it. Okay, and it's still my number one movie because that's how much it meant to me. And I love being right. So, and I'm just gonna pull up what Danny's saying. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. We don't condone that behavior.
I will say it has been the joy of my life to point out to really everyone from coworkers to random strangers that my bestie called this shit.
Yeah.
It's been my favorite thing.
They're
My
like
trainer
big
at
creators
work,
talking about it. I'm like, Liz said it first.
my trainer at work is like, my girlfriend really liked No Way Home because of like Zendaya and Andrew Garfield. And I was like, listen.
I called it in June. In June, I said that this was going to be the moment of the year, and yet it was.
And got hate for it.
I've gotten so much hate. Like I'm looking for people to apologize to me directly for the hate I received. I think people are just embarrassed that a woman was right about a Spider-Man opinion. I do also want to say that in terms of like the experience watching it, it was very funny. My partner like literally fell to the ground when Toby appeared on screen. Like fell to the ground. Like I was like, "Are you okay?" And he just didn't respond for like quite a while. So it really meant a lot to both of us. And I also want to pull up the fact that I was right twice this year. I was preaching the good word of Harry Styles in the MCU. Thank you so much, Danielle, for giving me a moment here to acknowledge this. And I've also received so much hate about Harry Styles this year, like so much slander around why Harry Styles will never be in the MCU. And I have yet to receive many apologies from people about that. And I want to take this moment to throw back to a video I made in October, which is still up on my page if you want to go see. There are receipts. We're not going to name names. There are many creators many, I'm not speaking about one person specifically, there are many creators across multiple platforms that will be slanderous about a theory, about about a fictional universe, about a fictional movie, about a fictional person that has no real world consequences. And by this, I mean a theory like Harry Styles might be in the MCU, which is an opinion that harms no one, a theory that harms no one, who will go out of their way to weaponize their platform against small creators, against diverse creators, against women identifying creators, against gender diverse creators. And then those creators will be proven correct. And those people with large platforms will do nothing to try and apologize or unweaponize their audience. And I think that's a major problem in the creator community. I'm not saying that out of like a vicious place, because I received nothing in comparison to the people that were speaking out about problems in projects like the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, projects like Black Widow, projects like Eternals that got so much hate over really important conversations. But I hope this year in 2022, we can do a much better job calling out creators when like they should really own up to the harm they've caused, because it's so yucky and our community can be so much better. And that's the note I want to end my very long story on. I apologize for taking so long, but I really felt it was important for everyone to understand the grief I went through to try and see this freaking movie that I was so excited for.
It was a ride. If you were witnessing it at the time, it was a very enjoyable ride.
Yeah, it was every day there was an update of, okay, so I don't think we're gonna go today, but we might go tomorrow. And nope, we can't. We're never gonna see Spider-Man. Every few hours.
Me sending screenshots of the theater being like, we might be able to go to this screen, and being like, never mind, we're not going to that screening. How do we feel? How do we feel knowing each other's final rankings? Are we all still friends?
Yeah, I love you guys.
I love you guys.
I may be upset with you, but
there will be words once the recording's done. I know Marissa's literally going to like have our heads on a stake. I think about WandaVision.
Oh, no, I'm not. I'm gonna have your head on a stake about Winter Soldier, but that's separate.
I will say,
if I can
I feel strongly about Shang-Chi.
I mean, yeah.
Anyways,
Alexis, you've got your like southern sweet face on, which terrifies me.
Bless your heart.
Just to follow your rant, I will say, just to follow what you just said, all of the important things that you just said. To me, one of the things that has kind of eaten me about TikTok is that people seem to feel that if their opinions are different, then they can't respect each other or be friends with each other. And one of the most powerful early TikTok relationships I had was with Danielle, because we have very different opinions about Bucky, and we are still very good friends. And I think it is important for everyone out there, even though this was a silly, fun, goofy game, to know that we can all still be best friends and support each other and respect each other and have wildly different opinions about WandaVision.
Yes.
Yep.
And all the others, but mostly WandaVision.
Mostly WandaVision. Now, I do want to like transition and open up a game for everybody watching. So for the folks on your TikTok too, you can tell them this is a game for everybody watching. If you want to say that.
There's nobody
on
my TikTok because I've been silent for 20 minutes.
Everyone, I can see people coming into the TikTok live and then immediately showing up in the YouTube comments. So I really appreciate that that's happening. Continue coming to YouTube and Twitch for the full show. We're about to play a game that I told no one here knows this is happening. Everyone in the chat, this is as much a game for you. JJ, I'm looking at you in the comments. This is a game for our most avid viewers and for us to test our knowledge. I've gone through most of the recordings from this year. And I have pulled 4 quotes. These are 4 things that have been said 2021 on our after parties, okay? And I want everyone to try and guess who said these lines. Okay? There's 4 of them. So 1 for every person on the screen.
I'm going to do great.
Are we guessing too?
Yeah, you're guessing too.
Yeah. Okay.
But we're going to look at all 4, right? Let's like have a conversation about who could have said what. Let's not just like assign it immediately, and then I'll reveal. I'll reveal what's happened. So
I think I'm going to do great at this.
Okay.
I do too. I think Marissa
I'm coming in confident.
You're coming in confident.
No,
coming
it's
in hot.
because I have an obsessive need to rewatch the show immediately. So
See, I do too, but I don't think I'll hold it in my memory.
All right.
I don't know.
Sly, how are you feeling going into this?
I'm scared.
Scared is good too.
We'll see.
Okay, 4 quotes. I have them in banners, and we'll read all of them. And then if you want me to bring all 4 on the screen at once, I can do that because it might be easier that way. Okay, first 2. One is, the question they should have asked is, what if Odin didn't steal a child? And quote 2 is, that's a big cat. That's a fat cat. And then the next 2 quotes, couldn't you pick the tracksuit mafia covered in glitter? And the 4th quote is, I say nice things about everyone except Chris Pratt.
I know all the answers already.
I don't know a single one of these.
Okay,
I know
hold on. I'm just gonna share a tab. So wrong tab, but that's fine. Hold on.
Fine.
It's fine. We're doing great. I'm just gonna pull up my secret game tab. All right, these are the 4 quotes. Don't mind the 2 that are highlighted. I've just had to copy and paste them. So Marissa, what are your guesses?
Okay, I think
sorry, I should make clear just for the comments here. There are 4 quotes on screen, and they each assign to one person. Like, we each said one of these. They're not all from Marissa or all from Alexis or whatever. Okay, sorry, go ahead.
Okay, I think it is Alexis, me, Sly, Liz. I don't
agree.
need to give explanation because I can hear you all saying them.
Okay, Alexis.
No, I'm right there with you.
What is so funny to me, okay, is that I rewatch this show a lot, right? I mostly pick on like things I did wrong that I want to fix, and then I don't fix them. But I rewatch the show a lot. And my partner now watches and rewatches the show, and we discuss it, and I remember none of these things happening. Not one of them.
That was my goal.
I do not remember saying the question they should have asked is, what if Odin didn't steal a child? But it absolutely sounds like something I would say. So I'm going to say I said it. And then I have literally no idea. It is crickets.
I remember saying that's a big cat, that's a fat cat, but I don't
Oh.
know about what.
See, I remember you saying the bit about
I
the
don't remember you
tracksuit
saying
mafia.
I said there should be a glitter trick arrow, but I don't think I said anything about the tracksuit mafia. I think Sly added that.
Okay, I have.
I think that was a conversation with us too.
I'm just
I thought Liz said the one about Chris
hold on.
Pratt.
I'm realizing that I've made a typo. This should be couldn't you picture? I apologize for that. I don't know if that changes anyone's
I definitely didn't say it then.
I 100% said that.
Okay, I don't know. I feel like the Chris Pratt one is Liz, but I also feel like it's not Liz. I don't know. So there we go.
I don't think I would say that.
Sly?
I mean, I would say that, but I don't think I did.
I think we're all in agreement. It's number 1 is Alexis, number 2 is Marissa, number 3 is me, and number 4 is Liz.
Watch us be horribly
wrong. I don't remember saying this Odin thing, but it 100% has the tone that I use when talking about Marvel projects. And I feel like the thing is, I feel like in my heart, Liz and I have had this conversation about Chris Pratt. I did not think it happened on air, and that is what's confusing me.
I don't think the cat thing happened on air, but apparently I said that.
That's a big cat. That's a fat cat. Okay, I don't know. That's what I'm going to go with.
I will tell you that you have 50% of this correct. So which means you have 50% of it incorrect. So would you like to lock 2 down?
I feel like we need the lights from Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
I am confident about number 3 being me and number 1 being Alexis.
Really?
And that's it.
Okay.
See, and I'm so confident that number 4 is Liz.
I am so confident that 4 is Liz.
Okay, let's see what the chat's saying. Danielle says number 1 is Alexis and number 4 is
swear to
Liz. And that 2 and 3 should switch. Sylvan's saying 1 is Alexis. Leah is saying Liz, Sly, Alexis, and then Marissa. Yeah. Danielle's having lots of changes in the chat here. But that's
I
totally
thought
valid.
I said the thing about the glitter, but like clearly I didn't. But in my heart, I said the thing about the glitter.
I'm just so glad these are tricky because I tried so hard to make them tricky.
Did I say the first one?
Didn't steal a child. I swear I didn't say that.
Wait,
I think somebody said it like
Liz.
in laughter.
is all of these something we've vocally said on the show? Because if not, I think I might have commented number
Oh, that's dirty.
You did. Sly commented number 1.
Thank you. I do though appreciate that everyone was like, that sass belongs to Alexis.
No, okay, so let me reveal.
I remember that happening. I remember that conversation. And then I was like, wait, did I comment that during the
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
I knew I said that.
you?
Alexis is birthday. I don't remember you saying that on my birthday show. But.
So here's the
Somebody
context
showed a
behind
picture
each
of a
these.
cat.
No. Here's the context. So Sly commented during What If episode 7. The question they should have asked is, what if Odin didn't steal a child? And this was when Alexis and I were still doing commentary by ourselves, and Marissa was coming in for part 2. I'm so glad that this was challenging because I made this game because I know that everyone watches this show multiple times.
Did one of you read it out loud?
Yes. We had it on screen for like a very long time.
Did Liz read it out loud?
I don't know who read it out loud first, but we like
Because
had
I
it on
can
screen.
hear somebody saying it because I was there.
You'll have to go back and
I was
watch
there.
them.
I remember it.
All too well.
That's a good one. That's a good throwback.
My great accomplishment. Well, it's not my great accomplishment. One of my greatest moments of 2021 has been watching Marissa become a Swiftie. That is all.
Full-fledged Swiftie Marissa. Yes, absolutely.
My mother unprompted gave me Taylor Swift merch for Christmas. I didn't ask for it.
You've
She
reached
just
a new
knew.
level. I love that so much. Okay, that's a big cat. That's a fat cat. During Alexis's birthday show, Alexis, I don't know which cat of yours it was, but one of your cats.
It would definitely be Tommy.
I thought it was Tommy, but then I didn't want to like be judgmental.
It's tiny.
So Tommy jumped into your lap and you cradled Tommy
yeah,
like
yeah.
a baby. And Marissa's like, that's a big cat. That's a fat cat.
Okay, so
That was like my 3rd episode.
I'm gonna tell this like very cute off-topic story. But okay, so I used to teach. I still do sometimes, but I used to teach.
Alexis, when Marissa said this to you, this is the
Is this
exact
the story I told?
response.
Okay,
This is exactly what you said.
I used to teach students in mainland China, right? My cats were very popular. They called my black cat Sassy the Lucky One. And they would make comments about Tommy's weight. But I had this class date where I was teaching like both school-age students and adult students. And one of my school-age students saw Tommy and was like, that is a very fat cat. Like, your cat is fat. Like, that's a fat cat. And one of my adult students met Tommy and was like, oh, look at your very healthy cat. He's so healthy.
And if you
I
go
remember
back
this
to
story.
the birthday show, this is the exact conversation that was happening. Yes.
Listen, my cats are important to me, okay?
It was great.
They're very
it was great. Okay, the tracksuit mafia. So Marissa in episode 3 of the Hawkeye after party. I apologize that this is written very poorly on the screen. We were talking about the Pym arrows, and Marissa says, "I want an arrow that shoots glitter." And then there was a conversation about how hard it is to clean glitter up. And Alexis says, couldn't you picture the tracksuit mafia covered in glitter? And then you talked about laundry and the best way to get glitter out of clothing.
Duct tape, too.
Mm-hmm.
She mentioned duct tape because I have since used duct tape to get glitter off.
Oh, really?
Oh, it's very helpful.
We all learn from this show.
Yeah.
And then mine, I knew that mine might be the more obvious one. But yes, this was episode 7 of, I think, the What If series. I say nice things about everyone except Chris Pratt. Yeah.
Yep.
See, it actually
I'm
surprises
so
me a
bad.
little bit because Liz is so like put together and professional on air. When I read it, I was like, I know she has said this. I cannot imagine her saying it on air.
I did. Unfortunately for me, I did say this on air. And I have to say, I was really trying to find comments that were a little bit more on the sassy side from each of us, and Marissa's was the hardest to find because I think you are the most polished on camera and you save a lot of the sass for behind the scenes. A lot of what you said didn't feel like controversial enough for this game, but even this statement is very factual. Tommy is a big cat.
You're surprised.
Tommy is a big cat.
Tommy is a big cat. He really is. But hey, every time we go on a diet, he cries. So do you want to be skinny and unhappy, or do you want to be fat and happy? And I chose for my children fat and happy.
And healthy.
Didn't you say that like he was on a diet and then your mom started like giving him treats like twice a day or something?
We've tried several diets. We're still on diet food, gaining weight. But I am someone that has like been skinny and cried. So like I feel like my child gets to be happy and robust. Okay.
Yeah. And there is nothing wrong with being fat. Like that's also something in like the cultural world that needs to just like listen. Let the cat be fat and happy.
Who went to
fat and happy?
Great. I'm so happy for him. That's wonderful.
He's living his best life.
I think it wasn't a judgment on Tommy's size. Can I
no
defend my comment?
Yes,
it was
absolutely.
The size of Tommy compared to the size of Alexis.
Yes. And
like,
the way
it was like cradling a 2-year-old.
Into frame. Alexis like pulls him into frame, like her whole body. And in that moment, it was like, wow, it's a lot of cat.
Well, and it's Sassy too is so skinny. I mean, Sassy is just so she's just tiny. She's this tiny, compact little thing. We actually celebrated the other day, and then I'll stop talking about my cats. But we celebrated the other day because I gave him a treat board. And Tommy is a little on the lower intelligence side. He values different things, okay? And he has trouble solving the puzzle board. Sassy does not. So I discovered that Sassy has been solving the whole puzzle board and eating all of the food while Tommy just sits there. But it has resulted in Sassy gaining weight, and we celebrated this. We were like, yay! Sassy's getting fat! Yeah! I know. We've worked it out. I showed him, hand over paw how to do it. So we're doing better. But
well, there is a request from the audience that I want to address. Please don't stop talking about your cats. And I think that we can make that happen in our next, if you can believe it, there's more show.
Absolutely.
So my game for the night is done. Now, Alexis, I pass it to you.
To our friends on TikTok, please join us on YouTube and Twitch for a stunning presentation you will not want to miss.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I will say this has been seen on TikTok, but Liz sent me some very cool TikTok video where people were ranking, or a person was ranking the Marvel Phase 4
Big
projects
Disney
based
news.
on
One of the best.
Based on Ant-Man, and I was like, I'm gonna do that for Alpine, and then Liz did not respond, so I didn't know if it was a great idea and Liz was busy.
I never saw your message.
If it was the worst idea I've ever had, but I decided to do it anyway. And then Marissa said she was proud of me, so I'm valid. Okay,
Alexis,
so
when I saw this, I did not see your message you were doing this, and when I found it on my For You page while I was scrolling, and it had 400 likes, and I was like,
it found me, and I was thrilled. I was so proud of something I had nothing to do with. And also just like, it was a perfect distillation of Alexis Blake Reed's comics. It was exceptional.
I will also just preface this by saying, some people said to me, you should include Leho, justice for Leho, okay? And I will say that there is a Stark Radio episode, you're going to have to hunt for it, but where I went on a long rant about the sexism and feminism related to women with cats versus men with cats. So go find that, and then I will do a Leho video for you. But this is my ranking Phase 4 Marvel projects based on their inclusion of Alpine, and it is a vaguely passive-aggressive PowerPoint by me. Okay. Do I click or you click? Okay.
No, I'm clicking.
In the category ranking 0 to 1, we have Shang-Chi, WandaVision, Hawkeye, Loki, The Eternals, and Black Widow, because they did not include Alpine. Alpine was not in these movies, so they get the ranking of like 0 to 1 in that area. Okay, in the ranking of -1 to 0, we have What If, because I think that What If should have been a funny, silly, goofy mood show that included episodes such as What If You Gave Bucky His Damn Cat. So that's why it is in -1, because it had the opportunity. There was a gateway to include Alpine, and it chose not to. Okay.
I'm sorry. Cat or gory?
Yeah, let's pull up this comment from
Category.
Danielle. Cat or gory?
Category. I'm just happy I now know the sign for that. I will use it all the time. Continue. Okay.
What is it?
I'm sorry. Cat or gory?
Beautiful. Okay.
Okay. In the ranking of -100 million billion trillion 1,110, we have The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, because this show could have and should have included Alpine, as she is included in the comics. I think there's a clicky here. This would be Alpine in Falcon and the Winter Soldier comics, and this show chose not to include them. And really, my next TikTok video will be a list of the places they could have included Alpine in this show, and they chose to stomp on my heart and not include her. And there's another, I think, clicky.
I would really like you to address a comment just very quickly before we continue.
Okay.
This PowerPoint is why I didn't think Falcon and the Winter Soldier was going to be #1 for you.
Yeah. Why is it your #1 show, Alexis, if it doesn't have Alpine?
The critics need to know.
In my head, it did have Alpine in it. Okay, like in my version of the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, it did have Alpine. I will also say that part of the reason this gets ranked so low in this is because this show did include a cat. It included the Lucky Cat Clock, and still did not include.
That's what's in Bucky's backpack when he goes to Delacroix. It's Alpine. He never opens the backpack, so you don't know.
I'm very confused as to how we can have a show that ends on the dock where presumably there are fish and there was no cat. Also, to all of the lovely people on the internet who likes to tell me Sebastian Stan is allergic to cats, I know. I know. In fact, if I had a penny for every one of you that has informed me, I would be a billionaire. I know. I also know that there are ways to include cats.
I am also allergic to cats.
Me too.
And I have a cat.
I have seen pictures of him with cats. Listen, you could give me a white Beanie Baby, like tie Beanie Baby cat on the man's shoulder, and I would be satisfied, okay?
Listen.
You could claymate, do claymation Alpine in live action, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and it would count for me.
Brie
Puppeteering.
Larson is
Like you
allergic to
did
cats. There's a cat in Captain Marvel. Lucky the pizza dog. I'm sorry, Pizza the dog.
Pizza the Lucky
Pizza the
Dog.
He's not one-eyed. But he's one-eyed in Hawkeye. You know how that exists? Visual effects. You know how Goose exists? Visual effects. That's not even a real cat. So let's get my brother, and he'll just insert Alpine into Falcon and the Winter
That
Soldier.
would be, I just need to say, that would be the best gift for Alexis from your
That
brother.
would cost
If he could go
hundreds
through,
of thousands of dollars.
go through Falcon and the Winter Soldier and edit Alpine.
Just about to text the group chat and ask if we could all get together and pay Jack to add Alpine.
Let's
to
launch merch.
Falcon and the Winter
We'll do a
Soldier.
merch launch, and it will just fund Jack. Like,
I also
buy
feel
an
like
Alpine
you all
sweater.
are going so above and beyond. Like, people could just take still shots of this show and hand sketch Alpine in the corner, and I would be happy. Okay.
Okay,
We'll
we'll
work
do
on
that.
it.
We'll do that.
We'll work on it.
Yeah, I think there's a clicky though. Is
Okay,
there a clicky?
sorry.
We could have had this and you took it from me. How dare you? Okay, now I'm done.
Yeah, I really
Who
love.
doesn't want that?
I mean,
what
I've already said
human
my piece
being-
on the motorcycle.
Regardless of their like identity or orientation or interest in human beings, does not want that. Who doesn't want that?
I'm not a cat person,
I don't
and
like men.
I'm not. Yeah, and yet I want that.
Co-signed. I co-sign.
I'm not any of those things, and I still want that.
Right?
I just want to say for that specific comment, what a good panel of 3 people to have backing you up. We have someone who identifies as heterosexual. We have someone that 2 people that identify as, I don't know what y'all identify as, but I think I'm the only one here that can say that this is probably within my target. I'm the target audience for that, and I'm saying yes, and everyone else probably isn't, and they're also saying yes.
I will also say that somebody this week was like, I don't know a lot about Sly. Was talking to me like, what can you tell me about Sly? And my instinctive response, like before I thought about it, was like, Sly is a queer deaf person on the internet.
Because that's how you end every show.
That's how I introduce myself, because that's like being deaf and being trans are so integral to who I am. So if I introduce myself, I'm deaf, queer, and here for accurate representation. That's my bio on everything.
Well, that's also how I'm introducing you to people. So
Your brand is thriving.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm so
Anyway,
happy
there we go.
about that.
Why isn't it clicking? Why? Hold on. It's not. Hold on.
I will also say to Riff, one of my favorite things that happened this year was that everyone just decided Alpine was a girl. We don't actually know that. Like, we don't know if
Why wouldn't
Alpine
she be?
is a female cat or a male cat. And I was on Twitter like, hey, we don't actually know this. And everybody was like, no, Alpine is a girl cat. And so now Alpine is a girl cat.
The fan
Now
fiction
it's
says
true.
Alpine is a girl, so Alpine is a girl.
Bucky is a girl dad. Everyone can shut their mouths.
And that's gonna be at the end of 2022. When we look back, that's gonna be your quote of the year. Bucky is a girl dad.
Now I have to make my weekly 911 comment because everyone in 911 agrees that if Buck had a kid, he would be a girl dad. And so
So Sly, let's continue on the Sly train here with your presentation of the night.
okay, so I was struggling. I was like, I have no idea what I'm going to talk about for my PowerPoint. And then I was like, you know what my brand is now? It's framing. Let's talk about framing in the MCU. So, if anybody asks where these pictures are from, it's the internet. I Googled for them. Sure. Just believe me. Go with it. We have Eternals, the first MCU project to include American Sign Language. They do a great job. Amazing. There's so many different kinds of no, go ahead.
I'm worried the last time that we did this, the stream got banned on Twitch.
Ah.
And I'm just realizing that now. So why don't you keep talking about your point on this slide, and then I'll very quickly go back and then we'll continue.
Okay. Yeah, so there's so many different kinds of framing and shot setups and like composition you can have and have it be good. Amazing. I think there's 3 slides with all the good framing. If you want to click through.
We're gonna go so quick. Y'all ready? Speed round.
Lightning McQueen.
Go. I think you missed one.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Okay, so 1, perfect. All of these are great. All of these are great. These are very different. Like these are over the shoulder. There's a wide. Great. Okay. There's one bad one. Let's see the one. Nope. Oh, these are all great. This scene. This one scene. It's awful. Sorry. It's the one mistake in Eternals. It's the one mistake.
Alexis, you're muted. Okay.
It's probably a good thing. Continue.
Okay. Now, let's talk about Hawkeye. Okay, these, beautiful. No complaints. All of this, love it. The dragon, beautiful scene, amazing. You're cutting off half the face. Anyways, it's a balance. All of this, amazing. All of this, literal trash.
Dumpster fire.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, no, go ahead.
Okay.
The top one, fine, great. Throughout that scene, awful. Again, the start of the scene, perfect. Everything I could ask for. Bottom, what the fuck?
Oh, sorry.
Nope.
Sorry. My
Okay.
fingers are slipping on my keys because they're warm from 2.5
You're fine.
hours of this.
Let's go to the next slide. All of this. Awful. All of this. Amazing. This scene, perfect framing. No complaints. The sign, different story. All of this. What are you doing? These, amazing. You would think the picture with the, but no, I like it. We're not talking about the gloves, but it's fine.
You can go back to last week's episode if
Gloves
you want
on
to hear
a
about the
black
gloves.
shirt. I didn't even realize that's bad.
Yeah, full black outfit.
That's bad.
So those are my thoughts.
I'm so sorry that I had to kind of speed through that first section because maybe after Eternals is on Disney Plus, we can like revisit and have a proper conversation about framing in Eternals. Also, if you want to hear more about, there's some things on the chat about the framing conversation. Don't worry. You have many episodes of the Hawkeye After Party in which Sly pops off every week about framing and teaches everyone a lot, including, I want to make sure you see this comment from Leah P.
Yeah.
I was watching Boba Fett thanks to Sly's commentary. I was like, why does Star Wars frame sign language better than a show with deaf characters?
Yeah, Star Wars does a great job.
I also really like the lighting in Boba Fett. I don't know if anyone's watching Boba Fett here. The lighting's really great, I think. Anyway.
I have a lot to get caught up on before I can watch Book of Boba Fett.
I feel like this is now the time to also say, Sly, thank you for constantly teaching us and the emotional labor that you do to keep us all thinking. Oh, no, that's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to click stop sharing.
You all need a person to yell about deafness. Hi, I'm here. I'm more than willing to do it. Invite me on your shows.
Yes.
I'm
You will not
sorry.
regret
I'm
it.
a queer deaf person on the internet.
You'll get that and more. All right.
All right.
Marissa's moment.
Yes.
Thank you. So
Also,
I
this
have,
is
if you're not familiar, this will seem really out of left field if you're not familiar, but I have a series on my TikTok called The Thing Where I Talk About Hair in the MCU, where I take a character in the MCU and I go through all of their appearances and talk about their hair and what I like and what I don't like and what's a wig and what's not a wig. And so this is my ranking of the hair and all of the MCU projects of 2021.
Wow.
Bottom to top. Number 9, Loki. Oh, this was
this was
really
it.
rough.
Okay.
This was, listen, I mean, absolutely no disrespect to the hair and makeup team on Loki. I understand it was a pandemic production. It was an early pandemic production. A lot happened. A lot changed. It was rough. But could there have been some haircuts? Maybe. Could there have been some digital lengthening? Maybe. The curl pattern inconsistency, the length inconsistency, it just really bothered me. And so it's at the bottom because it was the majority of what I thought about watching the show.
Talk your shit.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
All right, number 8. What if That's right. What If's hair is better than Loki? Because honestly, it has really good hair. It's at the bottom because it's not actual hair, it's animated, but the animated hair is great.
Best
Thor's,
hair Hawkeye has had.
Thor's moment, a lot of different Bucky looks. We all know how I feel about 40s Bucky, and 40s Bucky was looking right on this show. Good hair, even though it was animated. Yes, Elizabeth.
I need it on the record that I fully disagree with you on this. This should be
I know,
way
but
higher.
Oh, okay.
It should be
Oh,
way.
okay.
Did you see the shower scene with Bucky?
I surely did. And I didn't include that
Got
picture
birth
because
to
it would
Liz's
have been
plumbing
a
corner?
collage of just Bucky.
Let's
I
not forget.
I truly
You're
struggled to think
welcome
of
for
other
commenting
people that
on
were on
every
this show. I was like, who else had hair that was on this show? It was just Bucky in my head.
I will say that I agree with this is Hawkeye's best hair.
It is
It
Hawkeye's
is.
best hair.
Mhm.
More on that at the end.
Yeah. Okay. I'll stop. I just needed it said now that I think this is wrong, but okay.
It's just not real hair. So it has to go at the bottom. But it's not as bad as Loki. It's just
But it is still
I've
it's
seen
still
some
valid as
awful
hair.
animated
It is
hair.
still-
The way an animated Alpine would be valid as a real Alpine.
Of course,
Continue.
of course. The way they
We're setting a
animated
dangerous precedent with this.
I mean, the way What If animated women, questionable. The way they animated hair, great.
Absolutely.
7.
Absolutely.
All right. Number 7. What did I put as number 7? I don't even remember. Number 7 is Shang-Chi. Okay. I don't have any real problems with Shang-Chi. It's just like pretty normal, like pedestrian hair. Like Flashback Wenwu has some wigs that are pretty obvious lace fronts that could have been better quality. And I really had to deduct points for the post-credits Carol Danvers. I don't know that that's a fair judgment of the film, but it's there, and I hate it. Yes, Sly.
I want to add positive points for this movie for not including an Asian woman with colored hair.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. The fact that Munger Jung pointed that out, asked for it to be changed, and it is incredible. And I'm so happy that happened. Marissa has a video about that if you want to learn more about it. She has a great video about that. Also, points for Katie tying her hair back before the final battle. That's always good in my book. But, you know, there were wigs. There were obvious wigs to me. And Carol. Number 6. Eternals. Again, pretty pedestrian, normal people hair. Like, not a lot of wigs. Really good hair. Some not my favorite hair. I'm sorry to the Druid stands. I hate his bangs. But Eternals is higher than Shang-Chi because it has Harry Styles. And his hair adds like 10 points. So, honestly, when I made this originally, Shang-Chi was above Eternals because there were higher highs and lower lows. But like Harry Styles really, it balanced the scales in a way that like it had to be higher. It had to.
Again, Makari's braids, amazing.
So good. Thena's wig, a choice. Like, you know, there's high highs and there's lower lows. Icarus's hair, beautiful, fantastic. Druig's hair, why?
It was
okay.
a choice.
It was a choice. Harry Styles. Yeah.
Appreciate the pun.
That's good. Danielle's really here with the puns tonight. Okay,
Oh,
number
sorry.
5, No Way Home. Again, pedestrian, standard, except for Benedict Cumberbatch. That really is rough. But again, higher because Andrew Garfield has perfect hair. And Tom Holland, perfect hair. Marissa Tomei looks great. Is a wig. Yeah.
Oh.
Far From Home and No Way Home. Wig. Yeah. Great. It's good. Andrew Garfield, perfect hair. Adds a lot of points. Just gotta say. What am I on now? Number 4? Is that next? Number 4. Hawkeye. High highs. Low lows. Yelena's hair, fantastic. Beautiful. Perfect. Excellent progression from Black Widow. Kazi, amazing. Amazing. Maya, looks great. Kate, you would think, because I have so many problems with this wig, it would be lower. But it's this high in the ranking because I was almost convinced it was her hair for a really long time. Everybody here knows this because I've gone on several rants in the group chat about it.
Also an incredible ride if you were there for it in real time.
There was an update every few days. I have more information. but the 2 pictures of Kate Bishop here, one of them I was 100% convinced was just Haley Steinfeld's hair. The other is obviously 100% absolutely a wig. So, it's just like they're winning so much with this wig, but then they're also losing so much with this wig. It's but then you got to balance that out with Yelena, and that adds again a lot of points. Kazi adds a lot of points. So number 3.
I think now is the appropriate time to ask you how long you took to make this presentation.
Way too long. Way too long. Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Not Wakanda, Bucky.
I'm sorry.
Where was the warning? Warning?
I knew I was going to have to apologize for that photo, but it has to be included because the hair is so good. This is about hair. This is not about story, folks. The hair in both of Bucky's flashbacks, his hair looks great. They're pretty obvious. Well, actually, the Wakanda hair is really good. The Winter Soldier wig is pretty obviously a wig to me, but it's serviceable. It does its job. Carly, great hair. Sharon, the best she's looked in the MCU. Sam and Bucky, good. Standard. Clean. I like it. Sarah Wilson, incredible. Her hair in this show is so good. Thank you very much. Number 2.
Do we have to? Can we just stay here a little while longer?
You want to look at him crying?
No, but I also don't want to go away, Oh,
I'm sorry. That is the end of Bucky in this presentation.
Okay. Thank you for
Number
letting me
2.
know.
Black Widow. The hair in this movie is so good. The hair in this movie is so good. Scarlett Johansson's wig is so good. That's a wig, y'all. That's a wig.
I love Melina's hair.
I love all of the hair. It's so consciously I kind of hate when there's so much discussion about the female gaze, but this movie does really service it's about women and it's going to be about women and they're going to have interesting hair. And they're also going to put their hair up. They wear their hair up and in very interesting styles. We get blue hair. How old is she? 11-year-old Natasha. I love the hair in this movie. This is Natasha's best wig. Fantastic, amazing, incredible. Was almost number 1. However, this is not about story. This is about hair. I promise. Number 1, WandaVision.
There were so many options.
There's so much, and it's all so good, and it all services the story. Everybody looks great. Even the messy ponytail that is very obviously a wig to me is great and is servicing the story and is working. And it's just so good. And I will forever be upset that they lost The Emmy.
Well
They
said.
lost the Emmy to Bridgerton, which is fine.
I'll
But it's
say it. That's
not.
bullshit.
It's not. It's not
Lie
fine.
to you. It's not fine.
It's not fine because I know why it happened, because it's hair and wig design, and the designs in Bridgerton were more intricate. They had like a little sparklies and swoops and curls and everything, but the actual wigs and the application and the like
Contribution
role.
to the story that they
the
held,
contribution
yeah.
to the story, the role that they served in this show was more deserving, in my opinion. So that's my ranking of the hair in the MCU. Yeah, WandaVision and Black Widow reign supreme. And I agree. I could have put What If higher up if I was thinking just about hair rather than like hair design and wigs.
But I will say, if you think about contribution to story, like the hair in What If was not, well, okay, actually, they did use hair as a device throughout the series with Thor and Bucky, so they tried, but bye, Alexis.
Alexis will be back shortly.
Wonderful.
But
okay,
I would love to see your presentation, Elizabeth.
I did not make a presentation. I know, because I ran out of time, but it's okay.
Oh, that's okay.
So I know, but listen, I went through every recording to find those quotes from all of us.
Oh my gosh, can I just say, I'm
that.
reading the comments back on my presentation, and Leah is just spitting facts. Yes, surprise Black Widow isn't number one. 80s hair Wanda. I was 80s Wanda for Halloween. I love 80s Wanda. Oh my gosh, wait, there was another slide. We didn't, there was another slide.
That's on me.
No, I'm sorry.
That's on me.
I didn't remember either.
Here we go. Hold on. Oh, hold on. I got rid of Marissa. That was good. Let me bring it back.
So, for just further reference, if you want to know more of my opinions about hair in the MCU, or you want to see me go further in depth, I've provided you a lovely resource of all of the episodes. Well, not all of the episodes, but all of the relevant episodes of the series, The Thing Where I Talk About Hair in the MCU. There's 3 episodes for WandaVision. There's 2 episodes for Hawkeye. I covered Loki all the way through the MCU. I covered MCU Peter Parker all the way through the MCU. I covered Captain Marvel all the way through the MCU. And Bucky and Natasha.
Let's go show some love to that Natasha video, y'all. I mean,
that was the way the series started. The series started with Natasha. Then I did Bucky. And then it's been a roller coaster ever since. But, take a screenshot of this. Go through. I wish TikTok, please, I just want the playlist feature. I wish I could make a playlist of all of these. But those are the thumbnails if you want to find them. Some of them are like linked through comments. You can find them through each other. I've also done Tony, Steve, Thor. Anything else?
Yeah.
There's been a lot, and they're all excellent.
Yes, they're all high quality. We love. Yes, thank you, Academic Marissa. We are so excited to learn more from you as these new projects are introduced and we have more new wigs and new character design introduced to us. I'm particularly interested in when I was watching the She-Hulk trailer, that hair looked like a wig to me.
It looks really good.
It does look really good.
Tatiana Maslany loves a wig.
Yeah. All right. I did not get my things in some slides. I also feel like my final presentation is not specific enough. Like I could have spent more time on this. So I am open to group contributions to this. I was attempting to talk about my 5 favorite memes that emerged from 2021. However, I do feel like I've missed some really important moments. So if there's a meme I don't mention, please remind me of it. But in the number 5 slot, Yelena with the hot sauce to me is such a beautiful moment. Like this entire sequence of her and hot sauce. It's a meme that was like kind of funny, but it's more so how it's stuck around to me. Like I can't look at mac and cheese or hot sauce without associating it to Yelena now. So for that reason, I think it's going to be a more potent meme in 2022. It's going to age beautifully. So Yelena with some hot sauce in the number 5 slot. In the number 4 slot, we have the Watcher saying, I have seen everything that has ever happened, ever will happen. And yet, what the hell is this?
Liz loves this one.
I love this. It is so funny to me. I think it's one of the funniest things the MCU has ever scripted. We can talk about this and bring this up in every single project, and we will. So I'm really grateful that this exists.
And you do.
Yes. One of my favorite moments. And now for a moment that we haven't talked much about on air, if we've ever talked about it on air, but this should come as no surprise to everyone here from what I say behind the scenes. To me, one of the best there's a word here that I'm forgetting. I apologize. One of the best
that cat.
No, not that.
No, Tommy is in the shot.
Oh, he's in the shot. Oh, I couldn't see him. Hold him up for Simba. Do a little. Oh, you're muted, so we can't hear you. Oh, hello.
Say hi.
See, I'm not crazy. That's a fat cat.
Yeah, he's robust.
A robust feline.
Yeah.
Okay, and my number 3 slot is something that I think is a really great. I'm glad this Eternals character had this moment because it made sense, like in the history of Icarus and all of that. But it's still like one of the most funny things the MCU has ever put on the screen, which is Icarus flying into the sun.
Perfect.
It's so funny to me that they just said, you know what, we're gonna do fan service. We're gonna throw a man into a ball of flames and just call it a day. And it's the fact that they don't really explain it. Like, they don't really set it up that well. And maybe I just have to rewatch it. I'll take it. But I didn't think they set it up that well. And I didn't really think that they qualified it afterward as well. It was just, to me in the movie theater, I was just like, looking at my friend, looking back at the screen, I was like, is this really what they're doing?
I have a lot of feelings about that moment. Check out MC University extra credit.
Yeah.
Eternals. It's great.
I was 100% here for it. I was like, what is he? Okay. He's Icarus and he flew into the sun. I love to see it. Great.
And I thank Chloe for that. Misdirector of the year for me.
Yes.
I really think that was fan service. So I'm so grateful that we had that moment. In my number 2 spot, this should be no surprise to anyone, especially everyone on the screen. And I'm going to allow anyone else. Probably, I think Alexis is the one that has said this the most, but I'm just going to let it breathe for a moment.
Oh, yes, I have.
Love of my life.
The only time I have appreciated a Stark so much in an episode, because I really dislike that episode of What If. And this is one of my favorite memes that's ever come from the MCU. We reference this constantly. I love this jump scare. It is so great.
I love it.
And I hear Alexis in my head saying that line constantly, because you said it all the time during those first few shows. Hey, Martin stole a Jeep.
It does a lot to move a more progressive narrative forward.
Mm-hmm.
I will not stop until we have merch with a
Fish.
Jeep driven by a fish.
Yeah.
I've been
all
waiting
I want from
I
life.
know.
months.
Listen, once my merch store is back up and running, we will have the fish driving the Jeep merch. That was a guarantee, and it will come. Absolutely.
It's my one request.
It will come. It's happening. That's a promise. And in the number 1 slot is probably the most obvious meme that came from last year, which is the Miss Minutes jump scare, which is horrifying to this day. And I hope that I did give everyone a scare watching this. The Miss Minutes jump scare still haunts my dreams.
Honestly, Miss Minutes still haunts my dreams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot she existed.
Oh, really? I definitely, it may have been with Grace. There was definitely some TikTok live where I waxed poetic about her accent for a solid hour. I was very confused by what it was like supposed to accomplish. That's Tara Strong. Okay. So I was in awe, but I was confused. And there was all this Miss Minutes merch that I wanted, but I knew in my heart Miss Minutes would be evil. So I didn't get any of it, which looking back on it is a good call. But anyway, we can move on.
There are many comments that I agree with. I thought
I was not done my presentation.
Oh, I'm
and
sorry.
I
I thought you were
was
finished. Okay, go back.
No. I'm glad for you to say what you've said. What just happened?
Did that happen
you
to
disconnected
everybody?
Real quick. Yeah, the pictures got rearranged. I think
we
Liz
just entered a new
disconnected for
timeline.
I know.
I think the multiverse
Like,
opened.
there was a buzz in my ear too, so it felt like rebooting. Like I just felt like
Andrew
cyborg
Garfield.
Alexis. Yeah.
You know what would be really funny? If we were the only 4 that saw that and nobody watching saw what just happened, and all of a sudden we all... Okay, no, the comments are confirming. Everyone just switched order on the screen. Okay,
Also,
God.
I love the comment, whoa, everyone just changed.
Danielle is really killing it today.
We're still the same people we were
They're
30
starting to
seconds
come
ago.
through. We moved to a different multiverse. The comments get it.
Yeah, I wonder what timeline we're in now. Everyone check their presentations of your like different photos.
If I was a better improver, I would be going on a dialogue right now about how you really had to like pull me through. It's happening. Liz, it's
It's like the mind blowing
What year is
with
it?
like the space exploding behind the guy. That's me right now. I'm like, where are we? Who's Peter Parker? Anyone know who Peter Parker is? I don't know who Peter Parker is.
Danny's
Can I say?
I'm sorry.
We were in Nexus event. The TVA just went boom.
Where's Hunter
I
B15?
quit.
She's here. I'm going first.
Let go.
Space work. There's space work happening.
Oh my god.
Exceptional improv, everyone.
That was terrifying for no reason. I think Danny's so right though.
If anybody watches Point in Progress, it's a running joke that I quit the podcast every week, and we just got my first I quit for this show, and I am shocked it took this long.
Oh, that's so funny. Okay, the last point that I was going to make about the memes is that the Bucky with a cake moment, I think, has like surpassed like what were the best memes of last year. 'Cause I don't even associate it as a meme anymore. It's like a quality of life factor to me. It's like a flagship piece of my membership to the community. It's like the cornerstone of my friendship with Marissa. It's like when I think of Bucky in my head and I open like that file like in the filing cabinet of my mind, like it's like on the cover of the file. Like that's Bucky's display picture in my mind. Like, so I don't think of the Bucky with a cake as like just a meme. It's like a lifestyle for me. It's like a membership that I bought into.
It's a lifestyle choice.
And I fully blame Marissa for all of it.
Listen, the people who get it, get it.
People that don't.
Yeah.
Period. Marissa, anything you'd
I
like
have
to say?
Yes. With WandaVision and Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I waited until the evening every week to watch that show. It was like my Friday night order takeout, watch the new Marvel show episode for like the first 3 months of 2021. And so on Twitter, I saw that picture before I saw the episode. And the caption to the tweet was like, I can't believe this is canon MCU Bucky Barnes. And I was like, there's no way that's canon MCU Bucky Barnes. And then I watched the episode, and it's canon MCU Bucky Barnes. And from that moment, that became my entire personality. And I just have to say, the photo that I use, the photo that I send Liz, that it comes from that single tweet. I select, download.
That's it.
There forever. That's thank you to that.
I do want to
person
add
took
that
screenshot.
I do want to add that I think that part of my favorite, outside of everything Marissa has done to bring that meme into the fruition of my existence, is the way that, I don't know about everyone else's For You page, but for me, the day that that episode came out, there were countless videos that were from creators that were like, hi, I'm an MCU creator and I'm queer. And this is a photo of Bucky Barnes that's canon. And like, that's like as far as it went. Like, it was not deeper than that. It was like, hi, we're queer. And like, this is a photo of Bucky Barnes. Thank you so much.
That's queer culture.
That's queer culture.
Nikki Marina did like a long series of videos about the fact that it was Oreo cake. And I have never recovered from the fact that it is Oreo cake.
Yeah.
I also really appreciated her videos where she was like, he knew. He's a white boy going to the cookout. You have to bring something store-bought.
Yeah. No macaroni and cheese. Like
No potato salad. Store-bought dessert.
Yeah.
What can I pick up and bring?
Nikki Marina really like, I'm gonna wait for part 2 of my TikTok Wrapped for 2021 video.
I was gonna spoil it. You haven't posted it yet. Good thing I didn't say anything.
Yeah, no, it's coming and Nikki is in it, and I think everyone will be very happy with what I have to say if you're a Nikki fan, which we all are, obviously. Alexis, were you going to say something else? I think I cut you off earlier.
No, just that. I also, there was somebody on TikTok that's a friend of mine, a TikTok friend of mine, that went as that picture for Halloween, and it was like God tiered at me. Like,
was it Marissa?
Bucky? No, because Marissa did Wanda, but it was like Bucky with the cake, like prop and all, and I was like, this has surpassed, like you said, it has surpassed meme status. It is now a lifestyle choice.
We are all members of the Bucky Barn Holding the Oreo Cake Club, and we're all proud of it.
I want to say, while we're discussing all the amazing MCU TikTok creators, MCU TikTok, please caption your videos. I want to follow so many of you, but personally, I will not follow you if you don't caption most of your things. I won't follow you. And there's so many people that I would love to enjoy your content. Just caption them, please.
And your Instagram stories. It's right there. It's right there in the menu. You just click a button and it does it automatically. I can send you a screenshot tutorial.
Somebody had to tutorial me. I don't know which one of you it was, but somebody did. It may have been Liz.
I think
it was all of us working
all of
together.
us. We were like, Alexis, let's teach you. Our elder millennial.
Issues with technology.
But seriously, captions can be auto-generated now. Like, it's not even like there was a point in time where
language could be auto-generated captions. Mine cannot. It's so much of a struggle for me to make my content accessible for you English speakers. It's so easy for you all. You guys can learn ASL. I cannot learn how to hear.
All you gotta do is click a button.
Yep. And I don't know how to segue out of that, but other than we agree and we support that message. So
now
we're getting
a word from our sponsor.
We're the Stark Radio Toaster 5000 thing.
Oh my God. So I don't know if we've ever actually streamed for 3 hours straight. So congratulations to us and all of you for sticking around with us. Thank you so much for enjoying this evening with us. what a fun night this has been, unpacking 2021. We have so much coming this year, including shows to like exactly what we've all been enjoying together. We're going to keep watching the MCU projects as they come. We will keep doing the after party commentary. So, as MCU shows are coming out, y'all know you can come back here. We'll be here. We'll be talking about what we love, what we don't love, wigs, framing, all of the above. Alpine, if Alpine ever appears or does not appear, we'll always have Alpine as part of the show. And I hope everyone sticks around to see what we have in store. We're bringing more
Can we get an Alpine banner?
Yes. All the branding's going to be so much better because I don't like what StreamYard is doing to me right now. There's like stuff you can't see happening behind the scenes. Anyway, new branding, a lot of new coming to the show. We're so excited to share more with you. We have more TikTok creators that you love from MCU TikTok that will be joining us for some very special episodes coming very soon. And if you have a creator that you would love to see join us for a special episode, make sure to let us know on Instagram. I think all of our handles are the same on Instagram. Mm-hmm. Yep, as you see on your screen right now. And we always love hearing your ideas for what we can be talking about. And I will just add that we'll probably do more shows about things outside of the MCU this year as well. Like when we do more countdowns to Taylor Swift albums, Only Murders in the Building Season 2. Maybe we'll even do 911 Lone Star sometime. Lots of fun to come.
I can't make content about Lone Star this season. I'm struggling.
It's too much for Sly. Maybe Sly will do a video about why it's too much for them, because it's a lot. The group chat's late. And I will also say, if you're a fan of the show, if you're a fan of like what's happening here, keep an eye on Instagram, specifically my Instagram stories. I tend to spoil everything on my Instagram stories first, because there's stuff happening behind the scenes I think y'all are going to be very excited about. And the people that have ordered from the merch store and that are here every week are going to be the first to hear what's happening. So stay tuned for that in the coming weeks as we get our stuff together. Oh my God. And Sly wearing the merch. I love to see it. So much is coming.
Always.
2022. Let's fight for more representation. Let's have fun watching the shows we love. Let's continue opening up this community to everybody and getting rid of the gatekeeping that we hate. Let's all plug ourselves. Sly, where can people find you?
You can find me anywhere on the internet, being deaf and queer, because that's my brand now.
And here for positive representation.
And here for positive representation at SlyCloneMC. And you can find MC University at Point in Progress. I do a lot of other things on Point in Progress, but interest to you all would be MC University, the podcast where Mario and myself go back and watch all of the non-MCU Marvel movies. It's a fun time.
And I will be joining to talk about Andrew and Zendaya's characters. Can't wait.
Now, does that count for the show now? Is that an MCU movie now?
Or the Spider-Man already on the list. It was already on the list, so we're doing it.
No, I think it deserves an episode for sure.
Marissa, would you like to introduce yourself to the crowd after 3 hours?
Hi, I'm Marissa. You can find me on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter at Missabobissa. If you want to hear about the infamous Bucky cape meme, it's all over my Twitter. I don't know what else I'm supposed to say. I'm here every week.
Yep. Alexis?
I'm Alexis. You can find me around the internet on @AlexisBlakeReadsComics, and I talk about comics and also cats. The end.
Yep. And I'm Liz. Lots of stuff across the internet. I am doing the Station Head show that's coming back. I was supposed to do one earlier tonight, and then it didn't end up happening, but there will be a Station Head show soon, counting down our top 10 group listen songs of 2021. Because we had a lot of fun doing a lot of listening parties together. So we're going to bring back and count down some of my favorite moments of hosting that radio show for you all. So make sure you're subscribed to Stark Radio Show and Station Head. On my TikTok, I talk about a lot of things. I talk about the MCU. I talk about Harry Styles. I talk about Taylor Swift. I have some fun throwback videos to like 2011 to 2015 era coming. I have some fun get ready with me inspired by MCU character videos coming. So if you're looking for a new routine when you're getting ready based off of some fire sign energy and your favorite Marvel characters, that's coming soon. And there's some branding for the show coming. Marissa.
I know what I should have said. The next Hair in the MCU video is Yelena, and it will be coming this week.
Amazing.
Beautiful.
I haven't made it yet, but the screenshots are in my camera roll, ready for the green screen.
Literally story of my life.
My camera roll is just MCU characters and like a random selfie once in a while.
Love that. And I will say, there's one thing that I realized this week that I don't really say when we're live, but I feel like tonight's a good night to say it. If you watch our show and enjoy it, the best way that you can support us, like the number one way that you can help us keep this show going, is to tell your friends to come join us. Spread the word that we do this every week. We're also going to get better at how we promote and share the show. But if you enjoy this commentary and you have friends that also enjoy the MCU and pop culture and could use a community to hang out with every week, bring them over. Let them come be part of the community too. The more the merrier here. And lots more coming this year that I think is going to bring in a lot more folks who are looking for a community to join that is happy to have them hang out every week. And that's all I wanted to say. So with that, it's midnight for me and it's late for everyone else too. So we're going to hang up. Oh, yeah.
I have a real quick.
Yeah.
JJ, are you doing an after party live show tonight? If so, we should shout that out.
Yeah, JJ started doing the after party on TikTok. So everyone can head over to JJ B-Way Watch. Unless JJ's not doing it, I don't want to send everyone to JJ's account if JJ's not going live. But if you are, head over to JJ B-Way Watch on TikTok. That's usually where we go hang out after the show too. Great shout out, Sly.
It is midnight Atlantic right now. It is 11 Eastern.
It is 10 Central.
And 8 Pacific.
And
so, party.
And
7 Mountain. We covered all of North America.
Wow, we really did
I don't
that.
care about Mel.
No, it's the only time zone we don't cover.
Exactly.
And with that, we're going to hang up on TikTok first. Good night, everyone on TikTok, because there's always a little delay on the YouTube Twitch stream.
Goodbye, TikTok.
And to everyone that hung out with us tonight on YouTube and Twitch, thanks so much for hanging out, and we will see you next week. You can follow all of us on Instagram. We post on Instagram stories when we're going live next. We'll see you there. Thanks so much for hanging out with us tonight. Bye, everyone.
Bye.